This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich, Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Hey, folks. Welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd. I'm here with Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
Happy 12th anniversary, James.
Thanks. Happy 12th anniversary, Rich. This is going to sound crazy. So go ahead with whatever you finna say. Happy anniversary. Like, oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. This is the 12th anniversary of the show.
Yep.
I think you said you formatted the show, we're going to talk about at the end of the show. But yeah, 12 years, long time.
Long time.
Long time.
Yeah.
All right. So
I spent the pre-show playing a bunch of various rap songs from 2012. A lot of other stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, man, back this week, and here last week I had some going on at the crib and couldn't get to the show. Thank you to James for covering for me. The Beige Bastard is back, and ready, but yeah, so. I figure, I don't know if you heard in the chat, but I will not be on the show next week. Okay,
you're gonna have to say that again because now you just froze for a split second.
Oh.
Like I'm on the edge. I'm on the edge with this fucking laptop.
No.
All right. So what were you saying, Rich?
So I'll be on a cruise next week, or I'll be out of town next week. Actually, I'll be in Florida next week. So we might be able to do a show, but it won't be a live stream. So,
Okay.
Yeah. But
oh, boy,
I'll be on the cruise.
One of those shows.
Yeah, I don't, and then I'm traveling the next day. So the real show, to look out for is 2 weeks from now, because I'll just be back in town that night. I know I'm going to class. I'm going to probably get my ass kicked in that class and just be dead and be tired. But we will see. I should not miss a One Nation Radio, but there is a chance, there will be no live show next week.
Yeah, Brewhaven is correct. James is in hell. James is in double hell. You froze 3 times for 1 second apiece, that whole entire time, Rich.
Yeah.
I'm not re-recording this. It's gonna have to air. I'm not editing it. I'm not gonna go in and fix it. It is what it is. I'm over it. If it's gonna have to be a short show, it's gonna be a short show. We're gonna do it live.
Yeah, well, if not, we got the live recording. I can clip it up and everything else.
Yeah, but there's a problem, because when the stream is longer than an hour, you send it to me and then it's crazy. It sounds crazy. It only play the first it'll duck out the last 15 minutes of it, because I'll port it in and it'll look crazy, and I'm like, oh, it's dropping sounds on last 15 minutes, and I'll have to come in and go to the website and record it and then put it and it's what happened when we did the show on Memorial Day when I was up there. That's why it took forever for me to upload it. I know this is some inside
what probably happened
in the podcast. Your listeners do not give a fuck about, but it's gonna be a pain in the ass either way. So I'm just gonna embrace the nonsense.
when you yank the links off of those and drop the links in those sites, they only give you a certain amount of time. I think the deal is you have to actually download the full file out of Twitch, drop it in a movie editing program, edit it, and then export the audio only. So like, it'll be all right. I think I figured that out. But
yeah, okay. So on my end, am I freezing at all? The audio, video,
No.
video, whatever. But is the audio freezing when I'm talking?
no.
What the fuck? Okay, so what I'm gonna do is because like I can get the video really easily, the entire video.
Yeah.
Like I download every stream we have. I think I've missed like 3 streams all year so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like for the upcoming best of on the Chop Up, right? But the audio is somehow harder to get than the video. Go figure. Like I'm gonna have to throw it into a. I don't fucking know. Whatever. We'll figure this out. But
cool, man.
yeah, man.
But yeah, like I said, we're gonna get to the 12 years of ONR. I got a lot to say.
Yeah.
At the end, but let's start with the news in the world of rap and the NFL. Kendrick Lamar has been announced as a Super Bowl performer in New Orleans, and this has set off just insanity between people wanting Lil Wayne to be the headliner, Master P jumping in there, Nicki Minaj going on an insane rant on Twitter. You know, the whole thing about the South is going to be upset. Jay-Z, Rock Nation, Drake and Kendrick Lamar in the rap game dividing up Birdman, just tons of stuff. James, I think all these people secretly actually hate each other.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out why this is the year why people are coming out the woodwork to be upset about some local rapper. And by local rapper, I don't mean to belittle him because Lil Wayne is an all-time first ballot Hall of Fame rapper. I'm trying to figure out why is this the year where somebody's Super Bowl is in their city and then like they don't get the Super Bowl, which has happened every single time ever. And this is the time people lose their mind. You know how many times Lil Wayne has lost out or quote unquote lost out and not been named and given the nod to be the Super Bowl halftime headliner in New Orleans? Like I'm confused here. They like if I'm pretty sure New Orleans, Miami, and Southern California are the three places in this country that have had the most Super Bowls. They get it on almost like a 6-year rotation.
Right.
So
he could get it one day.
He could get it. He could have gotten it before. Or, you know, in theory, he could have gotten it before. Like I don't recall. Like social media is a newer thing. It's not. You know, it's not some invent or some invented thing that's like been around forever and been established. He's been around and the rules have been enforced forever. But in 2013, there was a damn internet. There was a damn Instagram. And Beyonce did that Super Bowl in 2013. I don't recall anybody being upset that Beyonce got a Super Bowl halftime. In fact, the people were like, it's about damn time. So the idea that, it's Wayne's turn. I'm sorry. Is this turning into Tokyo Joshi Pro? Is this turned into the wrestling promotion where it's like, hey, everybody gets a chance with the belt? Is this what's happened? Because I'm confused here. Also, I'm not sure if any of y'all that have been saying this about Lil Wayne, I've been aware of how Lil Wayne has like his mental facilities at this point in time, but that egg is scrambled. He performed a Millie at WrestleMania this year with Jey Uso, and it didn't sound great. You want him to go 20 minutes, a half hour? I'm confused here.
I don't know if we can trust this man to remember the lyrics no more, man.
We know he doesn't remember the lyrics. I've seen him. There's been multiple instances. I remember one where he was in front of some crowd doing almost like a Q&A, like an interview. He was doing an interview, and he went to take questions from the crowd, and a woman was in the crowd and recited his own fucking lyrics to him, and he was like, damn, we might need to sign you. You killed that. It was his fucking lyrics she was reciting to him.
That's crazy.
He can't remember his lyrics to his records. and the ones he does, it don't sound great. And also, we're also at the stage with the Super Bowl halftime show where like we have gotten like a pretty consistent like track record of really good ones year after year after year. The last like I don't know 5-6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to know what people expect Lil Wayne to do with the songs that he has that are songs he's going to have to play to visually captivate an audience for 20 minutes in a way that like can match with like what The Weeknd did in his Super Bowl halftime show, or Beyonce has done, like, or what Dre and Snoop and 50 Cent and Kendrick Lamar and Mary J. Blige all did. Like, I don't see it going well for him. I don't think he's someone that should have a Super Bowl halftime show, but if he wanted to have one, I'm not going to say he doesn't have the catalog to do it. He absolutely does. My thing is, if say similar situation, Usher, he's going to play stuff that you don't like. He's going to go out there and play Lollipop. You want to hear Lollipop during the Super Bowl halftime show?
No.
Right? Like there's not going to be anything before Carter 1. There's not going to be anything on Carter 1, I don't think. Maybe you might get Go DJ. The
possible Lil Wayne set list at the Super Bowl is just like cracks me up because it's like, all right, he's gonna play The Block is Hot. Like what's he gonna do? Get off the corner?
He's not playing none of that.
Shine.
There's no way he's playing any of that. Bro, the only chance that he plays anything from before Carter 1 would be like bat that ass up if Juvenile comes out. I'm pretty sure the NFL would not like him to bring out Juvenile and Manny Fresh perform bat that ass up. I'm pretty sure they don't want that. So yeah, like.
So I want to talk about
this
Kendrick
was something
Lamar.
that was like he wasn't even a thought to me. Sorry, Rick.
Same. He wasn't. I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, I didn't even think about Lil Wayne twice. But when they announced Kendrick Lamar, I'm like, it's fucking Kendrick Lamar. Like, he's a better rapper. He's a better song maker. He's a better live performer. We just saw him last year in the pop out, nailing every word. We saw him at the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
We've also seen him do a national championship game halftime show for college football like 5 years ago during when Dan was out. Like this reeks of Drake fans upset and feel like, oh, the whole industry or / Rock Nation, it has it in for Drake and like the whole industry. The 20v1 thing is real. They're now they have became
beaten into conspiracy.
They've become conspiracy theorists over a guy that actually got this ass handed to him in a rap battle.
Yeah, I think they come into terms with finding out about that, and then a lot of this just makes me realize that there was one person that won the rap game, and it was Jay-Z. And the whole thing about they're so upset, the Young Money, Cash Money, bro. Like when I just see. And I think about them, and I'm like, Kendrick Lamar is about to do this during Black History Month. Nicki Minaj is talking about this young black man was stolen from, essentially, with Lil Wayne. I'm like, I'm sorry. YMCMB has been the lowest common denominator rap for 15 fucking years. They've never rapped about anything worth a damn or that means anything to people. Like, and you want to come out here and bang the drum, for trying to, like, be like, yeah, man, this black man was wrong, like, nah, man, like get the fuck out of here, man. Like, I don't want to hear from Nicki Minaj. Drake knows better than to say a word. Even Lil Wayne might not even be aware this entire conversation has happened today, James. Right. He might be somewhere on a spaceship on Bankhead, James.
I mean,
he might be starting to see spaceships. Yes.
So the thing for me is like, with Nicki Minaj, like obviously people had the one where it's like, oh, like black, Kendrick Lamar is black. What are you talking about? My thing was like, he said young. Kendrick Lamar is younger than Wayne. What the fuck are we talking about?
And the funniest part is Wayne can't even look. They can't even bring Wayne out because that's a move that would look like his aggression towards Drake. Can't do that. That's his artist. But But, you know, if it's me, if I'm Kendrick Lamar, I've got 15 to 20 minutes to fit my entire career plus like the hottest shit on the planet this past year into this set. If you want to show some love to New Orleans, cool. I'm not saying don't do that, right? However, if it don't happen, who gives a fuck? Like, it's not like this is a global broadcast.
They didn't care when Beyonce didn't.
Look, this is a global broadcast. This is bigger than the South, Master P. This is bigger than people just in their randomly being upset at the East Coast and the West Coast and the niggas that's perpetually just aggrieved, even though they've been on the top of the rap game for 20 years. Stop crying. Stop crying.
I'm not going there with you. My whole point is like, okay, how many Atlanta Super Bowls have we had? We have never had an Outcast Super Bowl. So if we're never going to have an Outcast Super Bowl, I don't think we're ever. I never thought for a second we were going to ever have a Wayne Super Bowl halftime show. What are we doing? What are we doing? Yeah. Did Wayne go diamond? I was unaware of it.
Look, he sold a lot of records, but
no, I'm not saying he didn't. But like, for the Super Bowl audience, for 100 million people to know all your records, you kind of have to have some melodies in the songs, and the Wayne melodies in his songs were awful.
Black Saber Jr.
Lollipop
brings up a great point. I wouldn't want to see no Outkast Super Bowl anyway. This nigga's gonna show up with the flute, thinking we want to hear that shit. Absolutely the fuck not.
No, look, Andre has turned down the Super Bowl halftime show before.
Because he wanted to bring the flute.
There. He's turned it down.
Because he wanted to bring the flute.
No, this was years ago. Like, he just didn't want to do it.
Look.
He didn't want to do it.
Who else? I ain't giving no Super Bowl to. I ain't giving Lauryn Hill no Super Bowl. She'll show up after the game.
Why would she ever have one? She has one album.
Sold a lot of records.
I mean, she did, but nah, that's...
But nah, man, like Jay-Z runs this shit, Rock Nation runs this shit, and niggas gotta deal with it because he won at the end of the day. And then like Nicki, the whole thing when she's saying Jay-Z, you know, she was bringing up Kaepernick and then, you know, talking about Jay-Z, basically essentially calling Jay-Z a house Negro. And then I'm like, but you're advocating for Lil Wayne who's being photographed with Donald Trump. What are you doing?
Photographed with Donald Trump, saying that Black Lives Matter sounds dumb to him. There's a lot with Wayne. Like like
I'm not getting upset over Lil Wayne getting robbed like this, like under these circumstances. Like, no, sorry, brother.
This is nonsense. It's never been a thing where the rapper from their city get the Super Bowl halftime show. It's never been a thing. And in fact, the only time it's ever been a thing, they had to put Mary J. Blige, Eminem, and 50 Cent along with Snoop and Dr. Dre and Kendrick Lamar for no fucking reason. But they could have did the whole thing themselves.
Kendrick Lamar is going to call that Canadian a pedophile in front of 100 million viewers, and I can't wait.
And that's what people are really upset about. And that's what people are really upset about.
5 months, a bomb is going off, and they're scrambling right now. And potentially an album coming between then and now. If he hits Euphoria in that bitch, it's going to go crazy. If he hits Not Like Us in there, it's going to go crazy. Or he can just hit any of the other songs that he ended up getting 17 Grammy nominations throughout his career for. Like, this fucking revisionist history of Kendrick Lamar having no songs, Kendrick Lamar having no accolades, or... I don't know, bro. Like, it's a real delusion. Like, it's like, what world were y'all living in? Like, were y'all, like, watching the equivalent of, like, Fox News for a decade, just listening to Drake, thinking nothing was going on the other side? And then, like, you get popped out of that cocoon, and then it's like, hold on, what's happening here? Like...
Yeah, I think that's really what it comes down to. It is like, people did the whole, like, Drake has made... I think it's a real difference between like the older era of music and like the streaming era of music, where like, or let's say the mixtape / into streaming era of music, where it's like Wayne kind of changed the game where you just flood the market. You always have new shit out like every 2 months, and like that became the norm for people like that are younger to be like, nah, what your artist does is like keep giving you new music over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, as opposed to like not caring necessarily about the quality, but just the quantity, right? Because like for I think Wayne has more good rap songs than anyone that's ever been like a mainstream recording artist. The problem is he also has more bad songs than anyone else because he made so many fucking records that were terrible. I feel like Dying is terrible, right? Like
ass some hoes.
Like was it a lady? What's the shit? Miss Officer, a lady cop. That shit's all like you go back and go through like the shit
bad
that,
songs
that went for Wayne, and then they came out in real time. You were like, these songs don't stink. They were just going because people love Lil Wayne and everything about it. It's like, bro, you can't go back and play Carter 3 straight through.
Bro, I was never a huge Lil Wayne.
People want to get that classic status off the rip. You can't. Yeah, you cannot.
I was never a huge Lil Wayne fan. Like I saw him as like I felt like there were dozens of quote unquote punchline rappers that were better than him. So when he blew up, I was just like, oh, y'all let him. He was the one y'all let run with it. All right, I'll study him, whatever. But there's so like we've talked over the years about the weaknesses in his songs, like the discography and all that shit. And remember we were talking about the verses and all that shit. It's like he would never know what to play. He's an oddball. Yeah. Like he's an oddball.
Yeah. It's too much material to cover, and that, like I said, like that is not a person to be trusted to curate his own legacy in that way for verses against somebody. Look, easily lose somebody. That's like some hits.
If we want to do something to honor New Orleans, they should be bringing Manny Fresh out there to DJ with DJ Head or something. You know, the actual architect of the sound of the city.
Well, they don't. That's not what it's about. We know that's not what it's about. Because we never heard anyone claiming for Lil Wayne doing this in the past decade. When, like, what has he added to his legacy in the last decade?
Woo.
C4 came out. C4 came out in 2014, Rich. Yeah. I'm sorry, 2012, Rich. So you can say
what Carter is he on? Like the 6th?
No, hold on. You can make the argument that once we start this podcast, his legacy ended before this podcast started. This is the 12th anniversary show.
Let's see. Is he up to the Carter 6 already? Like what is it? Carter 5 has been out. Okay, the Carter 5 came out in 2020. Excuse me, 2018. And
do you remember C4?
I do remember C4, yes.
Did you like it?
No. Like
okay then.
Like I was like, all right, this is kind of all over the place. And you know, that's how a lot of his music was. Like, and a lot of it just, you know, it just slid until people just, you know, until he, I don't know. I can't really explain the downfall of Lil Wayne. It's like he kept going back to jail a bunch of times.
The downfall of Lil Wayne is he went to jail for the like after like right around the time of No Ceiling, so like 2010ish, whatever else, and then like he was in jail for 2 years, and then he came out.
Look,
and then like the album was a dud.
The single best piece of work is the first No Ceilings of Lil Wayne, and that's a mixtape. Like that's the best he was ever as a rapper. It was a mixtape.
Rich, the dedications, the prefix, suffix, his best collections of music are all mixtapes. All of them. They're all him rapping on other people's shit. There's no knock against that. They were incredible, but still, it's a Super Bowl halftime show. You can't play mixtape tracks.
Maybe you could do all his features. All right. Oh, I don't know why we're all right. Let's wrap it up on Wayne because
anyway,
because Wayne is like
the main thing. Kendrick Lamar's going to Super Bowl halftime show, and he's going to call in front of like 70,000 people. He's going to call Drake a certified pedophile. There's
never been a more definitive rap victory like in a battle. It used to be T.I. and Lil Flip. It used to be like
this is top. This
is it. Like especially yeah, the Super Bowl. Like how much more can you run it up on a nigga? It's like what do you do from there? Look. This is what he does. I thank you Super Bowl. Album's out. Like and then drop that shit. That's what I would
That
do.
would hurt.
That's what I would do. And then everything is already on there. Not like us, Euphoria, Meet the Grant, all of it's on there with all them streams preloaded. That shit's triple platinum already. Like,
that's nasty.
Like, yeah, nigga, I'm triple platinum on the rip. Fuck you, niggas.
Oh my God.
Off of your ass. Man. So, this is the final week of the WNBA season. I've begun covering pretty much every game now of the Indiana Fever on my personal YouTube channel, and it's going crazy on there. There's a lot of people that are digging the coverage, and then I'm meeting like a lot of wild commenters, to say the least. And the Indiana Fever have caught fire in the second half of the season. I want to say they are 7-2 since the break. The only 2 losses coming to the Minnesota Lynx, who have also been on fire after the break. The game on Sunday against the Atlanta Dream was a massive like comeback win overtime. They were down 15 and then down 9, erased 2 different leads, got it to overtime, and CMB, Clark Mitchell Boston, just it's another world now. So like, Caitlin's basically unlocked the swag in a whole new way. She stepped it up even, from earlier this season. Angel Reese is gone now because of wrist injury. Hope she gets well soon. Says she had.
They were saying she's going to be in the cast for a few weeks or something, and then they had to put her in a soft cast 2 weeks after, like, so her season's over.
Yeah. So Caitlin, basically had this run of games like where she played against the Sky, pretty much on Barbie night, went crazy in front of Angel Reese on her home court. I think she was over 30 points that game. Then there was a Lynx game, there was a Sparks game, and also
the Sparks games was triple double, right?
No, the triple double was the Wings game, I believe.
Okay.
And it was just like, this is a monster fucking team. They locked up their playoff spot. They're in the 6. And this week they have potential to go up even higher. There's 3 games left with them, and then they're playing the Aces twice, and they play the Wings again next Sunday. So the Fever and the Aces twice. Asia Wilson got hurt. I believe she has an ankle injury. I don't know her status.
Yeah, she's in a boot.
Yeah, I don't know her status the triple double was against Sparks. Okay. I don't know her status in these upcoming games. I hope she plays, but I could see the Aces being like, we're in already. We probably can't drop any lower than 5, unless, because they have 5 games left, 2 against the Fever, and the Fever are 3.5 games back of them. And then Seattle's in between them. So like, and Seattle plays Las Vegas tough for whatever reason. So it's gonna be exciting, man. Like I don't know how much of this stuff you caught, but I can say I don't think I've been invested in a basketball team as much since like the 2013 Lakers. Like
Kobe, the year that Kobe tore his Achilles?
Yeah. Because, like, he went fucking crazy, like, from,
in that last stretch, and then D'Antoni fucking killed.
Like, he basically...
And he ran him to death, and he tore his fucking Achilles, and ended his prime.
He basically, like, went crazy in January and hijacked the team, took over the team, so I'm the point guard now, and then, like, he played out of his mind for 3 months, and then he played out of his Achilles at the end, so, yeah, so, like, the Indiana Fever has just been, like, it's been so awesome watching them.
Yeah, who right now in the matchup, who would their matchup be? Because they're 60. Who's the 3 right now?
Connecticut at this second.
Well, I mean, when's the last time they played them?
They played them, I think, just before the break.
They played a bunch at the beginning when they were getting their brains beat in.
They played them they beat them.
Connecticut was out there putting belt to ass.
They beat them pretty bad twice. They lost a game at the buzzer against them, and then they beat them the 4th time. So, like, and a lot of what they were doing was a lot of the physicality was happening with the Sun, what they were doing to the Fever. in the playoffs, you would think that would continue, but
Right.
the Fever are an entirely different team now than they were at the beginning of the season. They play so fast. It's like you got to be able to catch me to hit me. So and they figured out their lineups largely because Lexi Hull's in there and not Katie Lou Samuelson. Erica Wheeler's coming off the oak or barely coming off the oak. Caitlin's playing like monster minutes. Kelsey Mitchell has gone insane since the last, since the Olympic break.
Since the break, yeah.
Aaliyah Boston is actually like raw. Like I don't know what she was doing at the beginning of the year, but like what she had 30 and 13 on Sunday, and it was looking O'Neillian out there, like what she was doing. So and she was busting Tina Charles' ass. Like I would not be as, I would not automatically predict like a Sun win there. I would much rather play the Lynx, but the Lynx are pretty good. Like, I hate, like I said, I hate to give it to Cheryl Reeve at all, but man, they've got shooters everywhere and they are unconscious. Only thing is like, playing them, you got that large Midwest contingent of their home court is the Fever's home court. So it ain't really gonna matter, if you're at home, on the road, whatever. But Fever and Aces this week, James, twice. What did the schedule makers do this on purpose?
Back-to-back games.
Did they do? And they're both in Indiana.
I don't think they did it on purpose. I just think this is working the schedule. Like it was, they front the thing. I think it's the thing where it's like, if Asia was healthy, we have a clearer idea of how legitimate this run has been, as opposed to them just beating up on really bad teams. Because like their schedule was so like the best teams on their schedule were all at the front of the year, and they got their asses kicked at the beginning of the year, right? And then they got to the Olympic break. They got to rest up some for Clark, and also like their connection offensively and they're figuring out the lineup made them a better. So like they're legitimate playoff team, but I wonder if like playoff situation or playing against an actual playoff team that actually there's actually a contender, like what that looks like. To give you a gauge of like how real has this progress been, or has it just it's been beaten up on a whole bunch of non-Cameron Brink Sparks and Dallas Wings and Atlanta Dream, because that's where everybody gets their numbers. So that's the thing I was interested to see, and we'll see how healthy Asia is, but either way, regardless of whatever happens, whether they get swept in the playoffs, whatever else, this year is a complete success. They were not supposed to make the playoffs.
Yeah, when you start 1-8, it is it's about as low as you can go, and basically erase all that, and they've it took out the Storm, they took out like a lot of teams like since the second half, and Caitlin's broken like every time she step on the court, there's some record that's falling for her at this point. And it really makes a lot of the coverage around her look so fucking dumb and goofy, and it made us look right at the end of all this, and it was just like, I don't know what is wrong with this league, that it feels like they don't understand it at times, or they don't want to like embrace it and wrap their arm around it. Like, it's like,
well,
we know that she is the straw that stirs the drink.
Well, Rich, forget the part about like the pushing, her as the draw or whatever else with media. As far as like her play and people not believing in her, gotta be honest. That was happening with Steph. People, 2013 through 14 Warriors, people like that was a nice little story. This guy that we saw, have two incredible two tournament runs, like ends up, going 7th in the draft, and he looks like he's going to be a multiple-time All-Star. What a great story. And then from there, he proceeded to then change basketball. Right? Like, and try to keep it kicking and screaming, and also it has some luck, because like the David Lee injury into turning into Draymond Green and realizing, and then Draymond Green unlocking the death line, like that totally was unexpected and unintended consequences of just luck, right? But like there were, when his ascension into MVP status, like that that a lot of people were non-believers in that too, right? Like I was sitting and watching, it was like, yo, this is fucking crazy. I would never spend this, but I never not believed. I was like, this is crazy because there's no precedent for anything like this before in the league. But there were people out there who were like, nah, no dude that small can do this, that, and the third. It's like, even with the smallness, even with his, him being picked on defense and all that kind of stuff, it turned into winning 4 titles. So like, yeah, this is like a similar thing, except like it ain't Steph Curry. This isn't multiple or 2-time All-Star Steph Curry. This is
a rookie.
This is a rookie. So like I see why it was so people were so hesitant with this. Because remember, players don't know shit until you play people, right? Like you remember what the talk was from people like Paul George, KG, and the others. They all got their podcasts, and they were talking about Wembanyama when it was happening. They didn't believe that shit. And then all of a sudden they saw in preseason game, they were like, oh, never mind. And then they saw him play beginning of the year, they're like, oh, never mind. It like they were quick to be like, I remember when KG was like, oh no, this thing, no, man, no, this I was wrong. I was wrong. And then Paul George was like, I don't buy it because like all that dribbling he doing at 7'4", nah, he gonna dribble too high, we gonna take the ball from him, all that kind of stuff. It took them like immediately were like, oh, all right, never mind, we was wrong. They don't. Imagine you're a pro. Imagine you're one of the elite pro athletes in the world, and every single year, just about, there's a new motherfucker that you hear about that's supposed to be allegedly take your job. They're gonna take over. You hear about this every 2-3 years about some other motherfucker's gonna take your job, and some will end up actually being good. But most of the time, they'll have some type of head case situation where they don't work out, where it's a motherfucker with guns, or some motherfucker that can't keep his weight together and is fucking with porn stars, a motherfucker out here getting women pregnant illegitimately all the goddamn time. There's always that kind of stuff, right? Drug problems, drinking problems, family problems that just drag them down. Not really having that dog in the problems. Michael Beasley, what's up? Right? There's always that kind of stuff. So if someone actually really made it, if you're someone like Jimmy Butler, you're like, man, line them up, right? Mm-hmm. You had to get out in the mud. You are not buying the hype on anybody until you actually see it with your own eyes. And then they finally see, oh, okay, never mind. Like, bro, I understand it's Cleveland and everything. Think how it took 7 years leaving and then coming back 4 years later for LeBron to actually get someone to sign up to want to play with him in Cleveland. It's LeBron James. Niggas don't believe nothing, man. It's LeBron James. This nigga was an All-NBA player by his second year in the league, and they didn't believe it. They're like, a 20-year-old All-NBA player? Nah, no thanks. I don't want to sign up to play it there. Send me up to like Toronto or fucking Sacramento. No thanks. So yeah, man, this is a part of it. Like the players in the league, you got to earn that shit, and she's earned it. Like all the talking people, like all she does shoot threes, physicality, all that kind of stuff. We watched it over the past 20 some odd games. And
them dominoes have fallen.
It's all falling apart. All the stuff that you thought could be reason why she would not work out, why it would not be as ridiculous as it's going to be. It's all out the window, and we should have known it was all out the window when it was picking her up 94 feet. And now we here, and like, look, I'm not finna put in some prediction on what she's going to be. All I'm gonna say is, with barring some type of ridiculous injury, she's going to be one of the greatest women's basketball players of all time.
Yeah, man, it is. It's really quite clear. Like,
she's going to bend the will of the league in wins and losses in terms of the way she changes the math and the spacing and the gravity on the floor. She's just totally different from anybody else in that sport. In the same way that Steph Curry was different than anyone else, even Sabrina.
Yeah,
it's totally different.
And
in fact,
she
if
walked
I was in New York, sorry, one pull it off.
Yeah.
In fact, if I was in New York Liberty or whatever else, I would go into next season figuring out how to use what they're using with Caitlyn in a way to help facilitate Brianna and Sabrina, because they should absolutely be stealing stuff out of that page.
Yeah, and with like the team that she's walked into, it looked rough early, but like the pedigree is there, the talent is there. They were eerily built how the Aces were, which is the last dynasty in the league. All these number one picks that just all like here, and then like they finally got the last piece, which is Caitlyn, and she's the youngest. And then like Aaliyah Boston's the number one pick. Kelsey Mitchell's been on the team for 7 years. She was the second pick, all world scorer. Nalissa Smith, your fourth option, second overall pick. Yeah. And then like Lexi Hull, she was like the sixth pick in the 2022 draft. Everyone it's like 3 years or less. This team's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Like
and I think also the part about it is also underrated is like they've gotten better all year defensively. Forget the part where the offense is now like looks like the best offense in the sport. Like their defense was all time bad, and now they're like middle of the pack. You know what kind of like that is a gigantic change. Like when it's basketball, like just go like just when you're a great offense. When you're like one of the 5 best offenses in the sport in basketball, men's or women's, all you got to do is say, don't be, one of the worst 3, 5, or in the one of the worst, the 20, in the bottom 25th percentile, right? Just don't be in that shit. Like, can you just be middle of the pack and you might be able to do something?
Yeah.
I think they got a shot to give someone hell in the first round. Absolutely.
I think they can steal a first round series. I can't really predict more than that just because I don't know exactly how the playoffs get laid out in the WNBA, but the like I think they're going to win a round, and then after that you got to hope for whoever to get knocked off where. But
I think it'll be interesting depending on who they're in matchup with.
Yeah,
I got to see the matchup. I think matchups probably matter more for WNBA than it does in the NBA.
Yeah. So I guess we should take it to AEW All Out. I got the card pulled up here. Jim Valley just followed me on Twitter. What's up, Jim? Let's see. Okay,
he won a job.
What's up? He won a job. Look, come to some suplex. I don't want to do it. But yeah, man. So AEW All Out 2024 is one of my favorite shows I've ever seen. A complete dark show. A show that when I was done with it, I was like shell-shocked by the tone of the show. It was just like, oh fuck. I watched a lot of like great matches, and then I watched sick shit, and then I watched like people beat the fuck out of each other in dark ways. It almost was like I should have turned the brightness down on the monitor as I was watching this. And this just turned out to be like, I don't know if it's the best show of the year because Revolution 2024 is amazing. All In was, there were parts of it that were amazing. And this one is just like, I think there's only really 1 week match on this show. And that, it was still fine. But we got classics on this, like at least 3 of them by my count. So like, I love this show. Like it was, pretty much from top to bottom.
I thought the show was great. I thought this show was, it's right up there as one of the better AEW shows, which is a high bar to clear. And like, I think this is probably one of the most unique shows because of, as you mentioned, like it was really dark, really, really, I think this show will impact people that watch this show more than any other AEW show if you've been a long-term watcher. Like, I think some of these shows is like, oh, remember that match, remember this show with this cat, and you'll forget a few things. I don't think that like people will ever forget watching that main event, and I don't think people will ever forget like the BCC turn. It was, these are some big angles. These are some big angles. These are important things that are going to like stick in the history of AEW and set the path for, storyline stuff for like the next, lead them into 2025 even. So yeah, I thought this was a really big show. And, they absolutely did the thing that they need to do every time they do this, is like they put on a card and put on a show that justifies it still existing. They have to do it. So every year, whenever, or maybe not this year because they're moving all in up, but like people are going to be looking around and be like, why is this show here on a short build? Because they're just at Wembley, blah, 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 blah. And it's going to be loaded up, and they're going to go out there, and the bell's going to ring, and they go out there and have a bunch of 4-star great matches. And then like people are going to be like, I hate Tony Khan for how he keeps bilking these $50 out of me, these extra $50 out of me, but he makes it worth it for this show. Because this, following quickly off of Wembley, like they're 2 for 2 now with this, with a great show, with a loaded up card, as well, with some all-time matches on them. So,
and I think they did better. They did better this year, like as far as like knowing, like, okay, we're setting up 2 shows.
As far as the plan, setting up for, I'd agree.
Yeah, I'd agree. And I would think that would be because they didn't lose the presumed main event of the second show, like it was hours before. But I think it's they realized it was like, we got 2 shows, but I didn't feel like robbed by All In, kind of like how I did last year. I was like,
oh yeah, because the main event was all time, and instead of that, which is just a great match that's very, which some people hate what it stands for.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And when we're cloning that camera, we're like, nah, this is not what AEW's main event for the biggest show of the year should be about. Nope.
Yeah, man. So I kind of want to start with the main event. Look. Let's turn the lights out in this bitch. We turn the lights out. But yeah, man, lights out match. Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Adam Page. This was an unforgettable match in like more ways than one. This basically, I saw so many people make the joke. It was like, this should have had Meet the Grams, the instrumental playing over it, like New Jack as this whole thing was happening. Like, just play it over the whole match. Like, actually, I need to get a copy so I can do that. I need to get the fucking video file so I can put the Meet the Grams instrument over the entire match. This was a horror film inside a cage. This was motherfuckers pulling out needles, motherfuckers getting powerbombed on bricks, all white bricks, like Gucci was saying. Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland, they opened this match up, and they were like wrestling out of their minds to begin this, and then it just got so violent. This is one of the most violent matches I've ever seen, and I loved it. Every second of it. These people that got their booty holes clenched up and all these, all this legitimate activity, the pro wrestling torch, these suckers putting out these poles and these poles backfiring. Man, the what about the children? Y'all acting like Save the Children, like y'all QAnon. Stop this. There was callbacks to like Magnum and Tully with the I Quit match. They did their homework. Clearly, I knew some like crazy shit was going on. I didn't really talk too much to Swerve about it. It was just, I already know you got to go crazy, so just show them. When I look at Swerve, the last 3 main events, Will Ospreay, Bryan Danielson, Hangman Page, 3 consecutive main events like this. That's insane. I know who I'm voting for in Flair Thaz this year, but how about the rest of y'all? So, and then Hangman getting this big win, and the fucking chair shot at the end, to where like they do the wide cut at the end, right? And like for me, that reminded me of the end of Chinese Connection. Some people may know it as Fist of Fury, to where Bruce Lee is at the end, and he's basically got all the revenge on the rival karate school who killed his master, and he's walking out with the police, and he was like, all right, I'm about to turn myself in. He walks out of like this huge palace, but there's like 50 policemen in the front, and they're all aiming their guns at him. And what happens is Bruce Lee takes this sigh and this look on his face where he's just like, am I going to go out like this? And he's like, nah, fuck that. I'm going out a G, essentially. And then this man leaps up in the air to do a huge karate kick at them. They freeze the frame and zoom out, and all you hear are the gunshots or whatever, and that's how it ends. That's how this match ended. And I was like, this is sensational. Like, I love this. This was great. Like, the needle thing was like, I'd never seen no shit like that because I don't watch BJW. I don't watch Freedoms. I've never been a CZW viewer or anything like that. But apparently this is something people did. But I saw that. I was like, yo, this is nuts. And they decided to go a place in an unsanctioned lights out match that, like, other people aren't going to go. Just other people aren't willing to do these things. So my hat's off to them for that. So, like, look, this was great. And then Hangman acting like he was about to come back out there and put it on him some more. The entire crowd gasps. I gasp on the stream. I did a live watch along. Man, it was this was a special match. And it was dark, it was ugly, it was evil, and it was great.
I think this is the most unique match in AEW history. There is nothing like this. This was the most intimately brutal match I can recall seeing in a long time. Maybe ever. They weren't in there to necessarily win. Like, sure, they want to win, but they were in it to hurt each other. They were in there to punish the other one for what they have put each other through over the last year. And I think they did that in a way that is more memorable than, Texas, any of the Texas Deaths, any of the other prior Lights Outs, any of the other, really bloody matches in AEW history, street fights, backstage, parking lot brawls, any of that stuff. This was like like when Paige said in that, before he burned in the contract signing thing that was a ruse to burn down Swerve's childhood home, when he said, like, why would I come here to sign a contract for something we both know we want? They wanted each other in that ring, and they wanted to hurt each other, and that was the point of this. In a lot of the nastier parts of this match, when you think of them in the out of the context of the match, outside of the shock and awe of the syringe or whatever else, these are two people with earrings. That syringe is the same thing. It's a puncture with a needle to get, whatever. But the thought of it's never happened on a major American pro wrestling company. It's happened in you mentioned Big Japan, Freedoms, CZW, that kind of shit. This is mainstream. This is mainstream pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Right? This is on fucking Turner, for Christ's sake, right? Or it belongs to Turner, right? When you start out with the staple gun, when the staple gun was one of the more memorable things to happen in one of their matches in the past, they started with that, and it was like, how are you going to top that?
It was almost like it was like no effect. It was like, yeah, well, we already done been through that. So, right. We did that last time.
When they started with that, I was like, oh my God, what in the world are they going to get to? How are they going to top that? And it was like, oh, well, we'll just throw each other on their backs on a real fucking cinder block. They're out of their fucking minds. Like, this...
Look, that cinder block, that shit fucking hurt. Like, I had that confirmed to me. Look, I didn't need it confirmed. Look, I didn't need it confirmed, but, like, it was not no walk in the park. Let's just say that.
When he got powerbombed on that, when Swerve took that powerbomb on that cinder block, that's a shoot cinder block. That's actually some shit that's holding up your house or your apartment. Like, I thought, oh, he may have broken his back. Like, not like some, a vertebrae is crushed or anything like, but like, you have all that, you have all that like structural stuff, bony stuff that's sticking out of your back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, oh, that wouldn't surprise me at all if he broke off a piece of that shit. And now he has to get up and try to continue this match. He looked like he was in so much pain, and I was like, you got power, you got power bombed on right on your fucking like lumbar part of your spine, man. You're not supposed to. You're not meant to get that happen to have that happen to you. Yeah, it was I personally thought, wondering, the previous two matches or the first two matches, like what they were going to do, because the cage was going to render them less creative with their athleticism. How are they going to top? And also, they had the problem of having to top or try to top what they did. I don't think that this is a better match than their first two matches. However, I don't know how I'm not going to 5 years from now, when I think of Swerve in Page, not immediately think of this match first.
Yeah,
I think this match completely sealed up that until something else comes along, this is the best feud rivalry in AEW history, and one of the greatest feuds, and it was already one of the greatest feuds and rivalries in American pro wrestling history, and therefore the world. But we're here now. Like this is a match that, like, I don't know if, like, people make the Meet the Grahams comparison, right? Because like you watch it and you don't feel like going back, because it takes something from you to watch it. It emotionally grabs you and takes something from your spirit if you're a positive person, not a fucking monster, to watch these two people brutalize each other in that sort of intimate way. Like, they got to a point where, like, they didn't want to beat each other anymore. It's almost like, this is my duty, I have to get it done because of what they've done to me. Is my vengeance. I don't actually want to inflict more pain on this person because it's now turning me into a monster. It is I have made a promise to myself and my family members that I am going to do this.
To whoop this
and I have to carry
motherfucker
this
like.
out. Like, honestly, I don't know if any of y'all ever watched or played. And I don't have a game system, so like this is like literally saying I've watched this. This is like the ending of The Last of Us 2, where like there was a choice to be made based on like how far can vengeance takes you where you lose your humanity, and like this was one of those. Like, these two lost their humanity in this ring, and Swerve was already down for that because of how driven he was to get to this point. He's made his due with it, and he's actually like had to face some demons after winning that title. Paige had not. Yeah, and Paige and Paige at the end of this, when Paige sticks him or goes to that box, that tackle box, pulls out the syringe for no fucking reason, because it's not like there was drugs and he just did it just to do it for the pop, right? For the oh my god pop, and then crash his head in his skull in with that chair to get the almost like the Japanese table or Japanese chair like seat comes off thing. Yeah, except it's the metal chair. For that to happen, he collapses. It's a KO. It's over, and then he leaves out, and then he's like, oh my god, what have I done in a way? What have I done? Like, what have I become? It's like, this is a guy who you burnt his childhood house down. He was basically stalking your family, and like the crowd gasped, and the gas was like, no, Hangman, you've been this whole time talking about how you're the good guy or whatever else. No, you ain't no good guy. He broke you bad. Not broke you bad, like he broke you and applied pressure and you turned into a psychopath for the last 10 months. Like, no, he broke you to where, like, when people talk about, you go high because when they go low, we go high because you dragged them into the mud. You're just as dirty as over the last since this year started. You've been every bit as dirty as Swerve has been, and you and your fans have been in denial. And now you come to the realization where like they're gasping because they can't believe you will go back in there to hurt that dude after you basically left him dead. And now he realized, oh my god, I'm a monster too. And then he embraces it. He goes on knees and embraces that he's a bad guy, and then goes out the fucking heel tunnel.
I think it's sensational. I think the walk back to the ring is just as impactful as anything that they did in the match. Like, just as far as telling a story and like drawing like emotion out of this like situation, it's like,
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like, what else do you have to give at this point?
Yeah.
Now, from a pro wrestling standpoint, these guys, as Heyman mentioned, Swerve needed Prince Nana the first time. He needed Brian Cage the second time. They went to a draw. The referee stopped this one, and it was lights out. They still haven't blown off a world title match, the one-on-one clean match, like that. You know, the one-on-one clean finish. They haven't blown that off yet.
Right.
I don't know if that's going to be like, you know, like, do they get their stadium main event then? Can they get that then? I'd like to see it.
There's also this other part where there's a part of what made the heel turn thing so, you know, or complete the heel turn in that way, where he realized he's a monster, he embraced it. Is like the whole time he was like, I'm going to, or ever since All In, he's like, I'm going to leave you on your knees begging and screaming for me to end it. And at the end, he didn't get that. That's why he went. He came back down that ramp halfway before the crowd snapped him out of it. Mm-hmm. He won the match, but ultimately unsatisfied that he didn't do what he wanted to do, which was to make him beg for mercy. And he couldn't get him to beg for mercy because Swerve is too determined to give him that satisfaction. And it drove him more nuts, where he wanted to basically kill him. And the crowd was like, "You're actually, after all of this, where you damn near killed him, now you want to fucking kill him?" And that made him be like, "Oh my God, it's over for me. I've lost my humanity. I've lost all of this stuff." And yeah, man, like it was very, very layered. And like when people have told me about like how much they have loved the Hangman character, I gotta say, like, if you want to tell me about like the stuff from like 2000 or 2019 through 2020, I'll be like, yeah, I think it's really good. I think it's too small screen, and I also think he's uninspiring as a babyface in that way. And I think he's wishy-washy on his friends, right? Because it's like I can't spend my disbelief that you can't tell your friends you want out, right? You're just gonna let it eat you from the inside, and then you screw over your friends, and now like you and we're supposed to be rooting for you. It's like, no, that ain't cowboy shit. I think ever since the Moxley stuff with the concussion and everything, and the eventual concussion in X's death, I feel like all the stuff people said about him in that way, I wasn't buying. I buy that era, like 2023 to now. I absolutely see it now. Before I did not in that way, or not to that same level. This is like, and I don't know if you agree or whatever else, but like I feel like that talk about that, I feel like he has taken it to that level to where it's like it's unignorable that it's true now. It may have not been true before, but it absolutely is now. So yeah, I honestly think, you know, I think from this, as you mentioned, the Swerve run of matches this year, I think Swerve is in that top tier of like pantheon of all-time AEW performers. Page is already in that. This ass in the list. He might now, you know, he might be number 1 or 2 now at this point with Page. And this is crazy considering he's doing this and leaving for 3 months after this probably. Because he keeps leaving for 3 months all the goddamn time. But yeah, I'm never gonna forget this match. It was or this feud or this rivalry or this iteration of it is the most I think it's some of the best stuff that's ever happened in pro wrestling.
Same. Like this is like, you know, I don't want to be too inside baseball, but like I saw like the aftermath of the match, and it was just like, I can't believe what these guys gave to each other, what they gave to us. This feud turned this promotion around. Like this gave people something to be excited about on screen again. This, you go back last year, and in a way that it never had been, AEW had become about everything backstage. And it wasn't like that before.
Yeah.
And what has happened is like this rivalry has hit on something to where it's like, these are both our fucking guys. And they're going to take each other from here to here. And like now that they're at this other level immortalized essentially with their feud. Name who you want. Like, like this goes in like one of the 10 best pro wrestling feuds ever. Like, you know, it's so.
I mean, it's easily one of my favorites.
Yeah, like
Easily one of my favorites.
It's like, yo, name whatever combo you want. Like, there are elements of Austin and Brett in this. There are elements of Rock and Austin in this. There are elements of Rock and Triple H in this. There are elements of like someone just like challenging. So, like, what I love so much about this was Swerve was so hungry to like move himself from the next level in real life and also in storyline. And Hangman just needed this thing to rebuild him in the eyes of the company. And also, he kind of had to prove it all over again, it seemed like. Even though, you know, he has a filthy catalog. We all know this.
Not only had a filthy catalog, he had a filthy catalog that year. Like, that shit with Moxley at the beginning was fucking awesome.
Right. And then, like, what happened was, like, Paige allowed himself to be like, yeah, I'll work with this guy. And Swerve was like they found each other at this interesting time in their careers, I think. And what happened was like it exploded in a way on screen that was just magic. Like pro wrestling feuds rarely do. Like where it's like, yo, I got this person that's my age roughly. We're complete opposites, the way we dress, the way we approach the game, and then they lock in. And this is like the beauty of pro wrestling, like how far they push each other in the ring, on the mic, segment wise, and physically the way they push each other. Like if you look at a video of Swerve a year ago, or maybe like a year and a half ago, and then you see like the physical transformation. You see Hangman Page and his physical transformation, kind of like where he was like not at his best like going into this thing, and the way he came out there now. And it's like these guys are athletes or competitive athletes that are also gifted storytellers and also just two of the greatest pro wrestlers I've ever seen, like peaking in the middle of their primes together. Like I'm so excited when I think about Swerve versus Hangman and potentially what it still can be.
Yeah. No, I don't necessarily need another match over the next year.
Oh, keep them apart for a year. Like keep them apart. Like they should be meeting at All In at the earliest.
Like I don't need to see them wrestle another. I need to see them wrestle other people and then to get brought back into it. And I don't need them. I don't even need them in some battle gauntlet shit or whatever else. So they meet up and in the crowd, or they bump into each other, they turn around, and all of a sudden the crowd lose their mind because they're going to get the matchup or whatever else. No, don't even do that. Don't even tease it. Just do it in a year or two or whatever else. But like I just the matches, all three matches, while all being nasty matches, or sorry, 3 of the 4 matches, while all being nasty matches, the pay-per-view ones, like they're all different, and they're all like darker and dark. Well, they become less spectacular and more brutal as they go along, and that was the point of it. And yeah, like it's a hell of an accomplishment, and I don't know what's gonna happen with this world title thing or whatever else, but like. I think Paige used to be the champion at some point before, like by the spring. By the spring,
it's gonna be it's gonna be tough telling somebody else they're the top heel over this guy. But there's gonna be there's compelling stuff like elsewhere too. So, and we'll get to that now. So let's wrap this up. I'm gonna turn the lights back on for the rest of the card here. But yeah, we had Bryan Danielson versus Jack Perry. In AEW World Title match. I thought this was a really good match. I thought this was kind of interesting, like to see Jack Perry like fly around for Danielson like that. Them locking in and slapping each other and shit was awesome. That part ruled. I think Jack Perry did a great job with the crowd. Obviously, they're going to react to him the way they do there. Did you feel any point in this that it went too long, or like it was like, is the Elite coming out or anything like that? Because I didn't think about them necessarily until they came out.
I thought that they were. I could see them calling stuff in the ring, and I was like, okay. I can see Danielson was calling stuff in the ring. He was calling the match, and I was like, interesting. But yeah, like eventually they got the crowd in the way. I kind of felt like Danielson took it really easy at the beginning of the match, as far as pacing. But then it all clicked into place or whatever else. And before the BCC stuff, I was thinking the way they were setting us up with like the runs with the Young Bucks and and everything. I was thinking like, oh, maybe this is, and Claudio ran him off. Like I think maybe this is like a setup for Omega to return. Like Okada comes out and gets involved, and then Omega comes up, but it didn't happen. But yeah, like I thought the match was really good. I thought that like there's obviously a better match in there between them two, but like it was still a great match nonetheless.
Yeah, I'd probably give it the good old 4.
Yeah, that's fine.
and that it basically ended with Jack Perry getting pinned by Danielson at the end after the run-ins with the Bucks and getting ran off by the BCC and stuff like that, which would be interesting minutes later. So after the match, it looks like Luchasaurus comes out, lays out Danielson, and then there's this brief moment is Jack Perry and Luchasaurus all over again, and everybody looking at him like, remember them? Remember one of the greatest tag teams in the history of this company? Remember them?
Remember when they hated it? Remember when they were having great pay-per-view matches, defenses, and they're like they're like, no, you got to get the belts off of them. Okay, this is so much better. This has been so much better.
And then Christian's music hits, and I was like, no. Like, and then they're teasing they're going to do the cash-in, and I was just like, I hate everything about the idea of a cash-in, and it feels like they're eventually going to do it, and I'm going to hate it a whole lot, because I think cash-ins are inherently stupid. And I have not liked them for years. I advocated to get rid of the Money in the Bank concept as early as 2017, maybe 16, I want to say. And then, I mean, it's WWE shit. So, they bring them out, and then the BCC jumps in, and like Moxley like circles out. Claudio comes back, and then they're basically like they're stopping him. I'm like, I was immediately, it starts going off my head. Moxley's about to turn immediately, like nothing surprised me at all. And I was like,
yeah, that's my thought too. It's like Moxley's the heel turn's happening here.
I was like, they had Christian walk away, but then I was like, yo, Moxley has not acknowledged these people the entire time since he's been back. Something's up.
Right. Also, on Dynamite, he's walking in with Marina. He sees the Young Bucks and Jack Perry backstage. Jack Perry, who's been attacking Danielson since he won the title. And he says, I don't care what anyone says, you've always been a nice kid. That was the bat signal right there. Like, to be like, wouldn't he have smoke with him because he attacked his friend?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I was like, oh, he's about to turn him right here. Now, how he turned him, I wasn't expecting that.
That shit was like, bro. So, like, my thoughts on the whole Moxley thing has been like, I was gonna kind of wait for it before I jumped like on air and actually said like what I thought was about to happen. I've heard the rumors about the Enochiism stuff. I don't want to see that shit, but the actual things he's been doing.
What part of the Enochiism was suffocating someone with a fucking plastic bag?
We will get there. What he's been doing in the interviews he's been giving and shit like that, he just feels eerie and strangely compelling in a way he hasn't been compelling in years in AEW. And like, I think like I couldn't stop thinking about like his character like direction as Dynamite was going on last week. I was like, this is weird as fuck, but it's like compelling. I don't want to see Josh Barnett, all that other shit, right?
Nobody on this podcast does.
But when they basically like they have Wheeler Yuta in the corner, Pac's there. Claudio circles him and is raising Danielson's hand. You going to jail now, uppercut. Danielson doesn't even react like he's been hit or anything. He's just like,
he's shocked.
What did you do that for? Like, I don't. Like,
what?
He's like, if you want to challenge me, like, you could just ask. Like, and then a month ago, James, I think I said on this show, I was like, what if Moxley like turns on him is Terry Funk and Ric Flair, and then what the fuck happens? They do the fucking Terry Funk bag angle, and he puts a bag on this man's head. It suffocates him essentially.
A plastic bag, because when you say to me, put a bag on it, maybe it's in Cody Rhodes when he's in Dr. Doom shit. He had the people put a paper bag on their head. Put a bag. Yeah. Would you like a receipt with your paper bag? Bro, since Cody came back to WWE, I have watched that shit. It's fucking hilarious. He's telling people to put bags on. It's hilarious. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so he starts choking him out. He has this look on his face like nothing's happening. He's just stone faced or whatever, wearing white tees. Yep. Then Wheeler Yuta's in the corner crying like a hoe exactly behind James. You can see. I'm like, and Pac just has him hemmed up with one arm. I'm like, how strong is Pac? I see the fucking muscles and shit like that, but goddamn, swing on a nigga or something. Like what you doing?
This is the thing. This is the dynamics of why, like, the whole kayfabe of the hierarchy of units are important. Yuta's the pin eater. He is absolutely powerless in front of those three to stop anything. And look, it would have been more effective, personally, if the person holding him back, but it had to be Claudio to give him the uppercut. But if it was Pac that gave him the kick, and then Claudio was the one that was holding Yuta, it'd have been like, it's like, shh. Yeah. Grown folks is talking. You can't get involved in this. We don't want to hurt you. We'll hurt you. You can't do nothing. And like, it's just heartbreaking to watch it. And it's still heartbreaking in that particular that shot behind me to see him like, he's powerless and he can't do nothing. And he knows he can't do nothing. Otherwise, he'll end up getting suffocated too. And those guys don't actually want to hurt him.
Yeah,
because they know they can easily hurt him if they wanted to.
Bro.
It was very well done and very well layered and very like their dynamics were really laid bare. Like, he was powerless to stop them. And that's what made it heartbreaking watching. You don't have to watch the person he idolized get choked out by another person that like has made his career and made him tougher. He's like, oh my God, like. I mean, you know, people make the jokes about, especially in Tony Talk, like about like, you know, BCC, Yuta's a child and like they're the adults or whatever else. Like that was like watching your mom's getting beat. Like I don't want to go. It's a fake, but I'm like the dynamics of like these are people I look up to, and they're like, and they're both my mentor, people that like. You know, have heaped all this on me, right? This knowledge on me and all this love on me and over the years, and I've grown. And like, this is a complete separation through violence, through total violence. And like, I love both people. What the fuck is happening right now?
Yeah.
And then like your older brother or your new brother basically is like, nah, don't get involved. It was really something to watch.
For me, this works even better. Like, Wheeler Yuta has to like eventually avenge all this. You would think, right? Like, that's the way, like, if this was a movie, we would write, this is where Wheeler Yuta's real story would begin until, like, he goes through Pac, he goes through Claudio, he goes through Moxley.
I don't know about going through them, but, like, he separates himself from them.
Like,
and goes his own route away from this. Yes.
Like, you know, I've wanted the BCC to blow up forever. Like, I didn't like the group. I fundamentally reject Bill Regal and all remnants of him, and seeing that shit explode, I popped when this all happened on the stream, and I was like, yeah, man, like, do something new with these guys, and this is more compelling than anything they've done in the history of them being together, maybe besides the formation. So
I think they've done so much good stuff that I can't give you that one, but I think if they weren't called Blackpool Combat Club, I don't think you'd have this much of a problem. They've been fucking awesome for 2 years. Fucking awesome. So, but yeah, like, it was a needed change for them. And like, this was, this was all brewing dating back to the Claudio and Kingston and Danielson stuff. Like with that respect match that Danielson and Kingston had. Like, this was going to happen. This was supposed to happen this summer. It just happened now because, Kingston, got hurt. Like, but in some iteration, they were going to split up in some kind of way like this. And this happened to be the way to do it. And man, like, I now wonder, like, what the hell would it have been with Kingston involved? This could have been even better. And this was awesome. So
this is all set up to be, maybe you get 2 title matches out of this. Maybe like this is where they're strapping Moxley back up. I don't know.
Oh my God. The heat that Moxley would have after doing this and like retiring Danielson. Oh my God. Oh my God.
And like, he actually like has never got to effectively be a heel before. Like, they tried it in WWE and fucked it up royally.
It was awful.
It was awful, yeah.
It was awful.
But like he's always been.
This would be his first expected to be good heel run, like post the Shield. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And everyone's always thought he's had it in him to do this or whatever. So like, if the crowd goes with him, I think they will.
If he retires Danielson, they'll have people. They will go for it.
Yeah. I need to see.
I will say this though. I would have go ahead, Rich.
I was gonna say I need to see what it eventually translates like into the ring, with him, because like, he looks inspired again. Like, just how he's, executing and stuff like that. Like, I just want to see like him wrestle in this, and he's been calling out Darby Allin as well. Darby Allin's mixed in with this, so it's like, all right, how is this like going to work? Because Grand Slam's happening. That's going to be Danielson and Darby, you would think, or is Darby going to like step aside? Is he going to be attacked? Is he going to be, what's Wrestle Dream look like? Is that like where Danielson lays it down like in his hometown, even basically to quote unquote retire? So like
that's a real WWF move right there. We were retiring you in your own hometown to the person that just screwed. That's tough. That is not a send the crowd home happy type of show or type of move. It is not.
Yeah. So I don't know. I reserve judgment on this. Just I need to see it in the ring. But like the other stuff, all that stuff is gone.
Do you think outside of being more motivated, like compared to what he's been most of this year, do you think there actually needs to be a change in ring for Moxley? Like, don't you think he just needs to wrestle like what do you call it? Like the person on top in matches, and that's really the only thing that needs to change. Like, you think he needs to do heel cheating shit? Because I think his matches work if he just beats up, like his matches when he's facing smaller wrestlers, when he faced Yuta or he faced Darby or even when he faced Takeshita, where it's like he's the person that is going to win at the end, and it's inevitable. Orange Cassidy, another example. Like does he need to wrestle any differently from those matches?
He needs to wrestle like when he fucked up 10 in that tournament. A couple years ago, when he like ripped through his mask and shit. Like, he needs to be like a brutal wild man, I think. And like none of the jujitsu. I don't want to see none of that. Like, I ain't trying to see none of that. He needs to just like, be a psycho. Be like Terry Funk, kind of like unpredictable wild madman that all of a sudden he locks back in and he's real calm, like how he's kind of been acting. And Marina Shafir's there to kind of be the wild woman and stuff like that. Lord, please don't change her theme song. Please don't change her theme song. Please don't change her theme song.
I was going to say something about Marina, but then I remembered that Roddy can fight. Never mind. Never mind. All I will say is there is an aura as she's whooping these dudes in the backstage's ass. There's an aura. Definitely an aura.
You trying to get whooped, James?
No. I am absolutely not trying to get beat up. Get the fuck out of here. That is a kink that I do not have, sir.
You trying to get thrown over her head? Like, just
no, absolutely the fuck not. Oh boy, you out your damn mind. This man said, "Do I want to get thrown?"
Kick
no,
kick with bare feet.
That is never. Say again.
Kick with bare feet, James.
Who wasn't a wrestler that was their fetish?
I don't know.
These niggas.
Tony Atlas.
Tony Atlas.
Yeah,
Oh my
Tony
fucking
Atlas.
god! Because I looked at that James Atlas and say, "Nah, man, ain't no way. No, that's not me."
AEW didn't post a video of the angle, and good on them.
Can we talk about that, Rich?
Sure.
So, visually, if you have never seen it before, I can see it being jarring. But you have to admit that, you have to be like same thing when we were watching us talking about the syringe thing. You equate it to what it actually is, and it's not. It's just more the part we've never seen before, or it just like in this particular setting, it is unsettling. Like seeing someone get hit with a syringe when you've never seen it before in pro wrestling is jarring. But ultimately, it is. Oh, this person is basically getting a piercing. When you think of that, it's like, oh, never mind. Same thing when it comes to the stapling. It's two piercings. Okay. Seeing the bag, I can see people being like, oh, that's crazy. But you also have to admit that, like, you can see the air coming in and out of the bag as it's happening. And also, like, we can't see the back of the bag. So clearly Moxie's not fucking sealing around the whole back of his head.
Yeah.
Clearly he's breathing in and out. Relax.
Yeah.
Relax. I don't think John Moxley's actually trying to murder Danielson on pay-per-view for real. Sorry.
I think I think if you were just staring at Danielson getting choked out, you were missing it. You were missing half of what was going on. The thing to look at is Moxley's face as this shit was happening, because it's like expressionless.
I was watching all of it, so
soulless,
and I thought it was also well done.
Yeah, soulless essentially, like, and great angle, like, so I'm intrigued where that goes.
So I didn't tweet this because I didn't want to become a thing where people were like, James or this fucking guy, some AEW guy, and then they see I'm connected to you and be like, oh, he's definitely some AEW guy, whatever. Like, I'm not on. I haven't gotten a check from AEW not once yet. Rich is totally different. I have yet to get a check from Tony Khan. Tony, if you want to send me a check, I can But I sent a message in the thread that said AEW, no charm bracelets, just murder.
James,
that would have went. It would have went. But I held off because I didn't want to deal with the bullshit. I didn't want to deal with it. But I'm saying it here. So if you want to go on the podcast, get upset about it, whatever. You've already been listening for an hour and a half.
Oh,
you've already been listening for an hour and a half. What the hell?
Did you hear the breaking news tonight that they are selling the CM Punk friendship bracelets? Like replicas, and they say Larry and AJ on them. And the person that ended up making the first one, they found out like everybody else.
Awesome. I mean, you ain't get no cut. So that's why you ain't get no cut.
That is sensational. Just like just allow this corporation just to take over this shit. Like, all y'all, look, now what I want to see, all y'all that capped about them bracelets and how much it means and how much we don't understand it, y'all better buy y'all fucking bracelets. I better see Larry and AJ Lee shit on y'all wrists. I need y'all to tweet the photos.
Yeah. It's like, look, it's so sentimental. It means one of one. Now it's mass produced now, brother.
Yeah. How about it?
Yeah. Look. So yeah, man, like, I thought that, like, I'm really intrigued to see what happens with this. And like, I feel like between like what the hell's going to happen with Swerve and Paige post them trying to murder each other in cold blood, and this, like, I feel like this is setting up for a really good fall. And then like we still have C2 on the way. I feel like they set it really nicely, and I feel like that wasn't the end of the Garcia thing. We'll get to it, but or whatever, Garcia and MJF, like, I feel, and like, it's like MJF is having a good program, like far away from the title. we might be heating up. We might be heating up narratively real soon. And Omega's due back sometimes. Like, hey, we might be back. We might be back, bitch.
Look, I heard so many Kenny Omega references on the broadcast. I was like, yeah, man. Just anytime my dog wants to get healthy. Someone actually ran into him the other night and took a picture with him, and the legs look jacked, so he looked like he's working out. So let's hope. What is this? Jon Moxley live on Wednesday. Okay, cool. I hope he live. Shit. Mercedes Moné versus Hikaru Shida. Now, James, last week, actually 2 weeks ago, Twitter.
The Josh thing.
We'll get there.
Okay.
Twitter went batshit insane on Britt Baker for what I thought was a below average match. People acted like they saw some 1-star match that was an affront to the business. They were clipping up things that are saying she's sandbagging and on the Three Amigos stuff.
It didn't really like sandbagging to me, but okay.
It didn't to me either. They were making stuff up in their head.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering where the Hikaru Shida clips were of the same thing.
You mean when she kicked her?
And like the Eddie Guerrero suplexes and stuff like that. Like when I watched these two matches, they weren't all that different to me.
Yeah, same.
So like, I don't know if people like Hikaru Shida skated on this. Mercedes obviously skated on this. I just want to know if everybody wants to tell the truth or they want to not.
Well, my truth is that this match was still better than that match, but
agreed, but not that much. But this is like a quarter-star difference. Like,
but the weird thing is like, but the part that's weird is like Shida and her had a match before, and that match was way better than this, and it was recent. So I don't know like what Mercedes has like. Is she in her own head as far as getting the amount of time she does to do these matches? Also, it doesn't help that, like, yeah, I'm going to have this match at that spot, and then, like, it's right before the two biggest matches on the show, and like, there already was this killer fucking bloody match with women in it earlier, and it's versus somebody I've already beaten in a match, right? It's like recently, like,
Look.
this was set up to fail. This was set up to fail, and it didn't feel like the Britt Baker match did. Like, this was just like, oh, okay, so like a 3-star match, and like I expect y'all to go out there and have at least 3. I expect the floor for those two to be 3.5. It's weird for people that had chemistry. I just saw it like in the last 2 months had chemistry. They didn't have chemistry. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
I think this fell apart towards the end of the match. This fell apart.
Oh, it definitely did.
Towards the end.
Do you think Mercedes got concussed?
I don't know.
Like on the katana?
It's possible. I mean, I guess we'll see if they use her this week or whatever. But when I was watching Willow and Statlander, I was like, and I thought about also Mercedes and Mariah, and I was like, and I'm like, have the AEW pay-per-view crowds taken to Mercedes? Because let's go down the list.
The storylines aren't there for that yet.
Let's go down the list. Her and Willow. I think people would have been just fine with Will Nightingale winning that one. Yeah,
but the crowd was definitely into that match,
and we thought that was a great match.
Yeah, it was.
Forbidden Door, Stephanie Vaquer completely gets over in the match, outperforms her.
Yep.
All in Britt Baker. This one.
Yep.
She's swimming up the stream right now.
Given her positioning, I'd say so. And I would say they need to build her into a personal feud to get the crowd into her actual like match in that way. I think that when he tried to do that with Britt, but like people realized Britt was going to take that pin, and people also were ready to see Britt back or as a babyface, even though she came back from where she came back from. So you had that. And also people were like, why is Britt coming back just to swoop in and get another a spot that she doesn't deserve after she's been gone for forever else, right? I'm not saying that's fair or that's reality. I'm saying that's how people felt. And then you have this where it's like, we just mentioned it, like she just beat Shido and she's getting another title shot. Like this is already a dead match. So they need to build up contenders for her. I mean, it might be Stat, right? But they need to build up somebody for her. And have them have a actual TV program fully fleshed out and get it to be personal, to get the crowd to care about it when the bell rings on pay-per-view. Because I don't think they've done that for Wembley or for this.
Like her going third from the top on these shows, doing this
don't help. Does not help.
And
it does not help.
And she's always going on after the other women's match that like ends up smoking her on that night.
But the thing is, right, we talking about it, right? You mentioned Mercedes and Tony, Willow and Stat. These are like big grudge blood matches of people that have betrayed each other. They have emotion going into those matches. These Mercedes matches that we got at Wembley and also that we got this weekend, these are not matches that you know, there's no drama there in that way. It's people saying mean stuff, sure, but there's no drama. Like, I hate you for what you've done to me, and I'm going to get it back in the ring in blood or whatever. It's not that. And they're going, and she's going to need that if that's what's going to be happening on these AEW undercard women's show, because that's what people want to see. They're doing the women in the division are doing pro wrestling in their programs better than Mercedes is right now, just functionally. And they got roots here. She's new.
And also, like, you know, you got Camille with her now, so it's not like you can even just flip her babyface on a light switch and then just get her a new set of opponents, unless you just have Camille destroy her and then turn her babyface. Like,
Camille's been here for a cup of coffee. Ain't nobody finna buy it. They're gonna be like, oh my God, I can't wait to see them go at it because of the betrayal between those two. She's got here.
So, like, if it's me, if I'm Mercedes, I'm putting together the money team. I'm plucking the Renegade twins out of ROH, putting them with Mercedes.
Rich.
They all look alike.
Rich.
Camille, and then like,
look at the chat. Look at the chat.
Athena?
I'm not buying on that pipe dream. I have to. I have to
Becky
see
Lynch?
it. I have to see it in person to believe for a second. I'm not holding my breath on that at all. That will be a good solution, but it ain't happening.
Yeah. I'm not factoring that in until I see it. But you could pull the Athena button at any time and do that.
Oh, you could. And they both like each other.
Yeah. So, like, maybe that's, I don't know. I don't know when to do that.
Look, you don't think Athena can breathe life into Mercedes right now? Because I do.
Yeah. But, you know.
And also that's also like the best match they could put on potentially on the roster.
This one I wasn't feeling it.
So yeah,
I wasn't feeling it, and it was like, I feel like questions are like, you know, maybe Josh got a point, maybe something's up.
That I thought that's what you were going with, but here's the thing though, right? Her match with Momo in DC or Capital Collision was actually really fucking good. Like, I think people have it higher rated than I do, but like it's 3 3/4 at the worst. So it's like, wait a second. So I know I get accused of being a Stardom shield, but damn, like I don't think Momo is that much is that much better or sharper or whatever you want to call it than Hikaru Shida. It's Shida. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's been a while.
I think it's just miss.
It's been a while since Shida like has really had like a lot of great matches, and you know they're pushing this thing on her where she's loudly proclaiming she's the ace.
A year ago, like when she won the belt back, at Dynamite 200, I was there for that. Like I thought the match was really good with Toni Storm.
Like she's doing the thing where she's loudly proclaiming she's the ace. Jamie Hayter's back. Look, bring Jamie Hayter in this.
That's a match right there.
Let's get this. You know,
yeah. I also think it's be a good time. Like if you were to do that, right? Like I don't think they'll realize how good of on the mic like Jamie Hayter can be, and like she more or less got over by like carrying Britt Baker. So like her matches since she's been back, they're fun. She beating the hell out of people. She's clobbering the shit out of people. Yeah, do that, run that. Yeah, and then let Jamie get the mic, and then completely hell. Look, do Jamie versus Camille, have her beat the shit out of Camille first, and then do that match.
Yeah. Continental 4-way. Kazuchika Okada beats Konosuke Takeshita, Mark Briscoe, and Orange Cassidy. I like all four of these guys. I thought this was a good match. But there was an element of like, this isn't really that important, but I thought Mark Briscoe was phenomenal in it. I thought Orange Cassidy was great in it. Okada, even at the closing stretch, was good. But like, everyone wants Okada and Takeshita. And
yep. And they teased it.
And I think it needs to be the C2 finals, and I think Takeshita needs to beat him.
Hey, I wasn't paying attention, but did Callis have Takeshita grease the wrist? Bro, we gotta talk about that on the Go Home show.
That's amazing.
On the Go Home show,
that's my kind of kayfabe right there.
Callis said that if you are facing Okada because of the wrist control and how devastating it can be if you have getting barraged by the beatdown from the wrist control, you might go into the match and grease your wrist. And I was like, so this is what we finna do. 2 1-1. We put an asterisk next to that shit. This nigga Callis was right here greasing Kenny Omega's wrist. This bullshit.
Grease the wrist.
Hook the leg. This nigga got Vaseline out there.
I love it.
It's like, bro,
I love it.
From here on out. Because the part that makes it funny is like they're both heels at this point, Okada and Callis.
Yeah.
But bro, the idea that
this is why Don rules.
This is the idea that like you say that you have Callis versus like the Callis family versus like Okada, and like every single person like gives him a tougher match you otherwise would imagine. And it's all because like Callis like, I got mind control over Okada.
Yeah, I've been going against him for years.
You don't know if he's going to grab that wrist if it's going to be right or not.
Anytime one of my guys goes out there, it's a little bit harder to hold him,
Yeah. Oh my god, that's so fucking good, bro. But anyway, yeah, like the custom match is what people want. They want it badly.
Bad.
And the crazy part is they're both heels. Like they gotta
look. They want to cheer Takeshita bad.
They gotta do something to change the dynamic to where like Takeshita and Callis. Takeshita and Fletcher. They both got to get away from Callis, and like they gotta have and to make this work because like we've seen it this weekend. Like Okada is great versus the Callis guys.
What a shock!
Obviously, it's two guys that are young, and obviously Okada versus young guys is great. But they got to do something to get to keep this going. And like Takeshita Okada, like I mean, I've wanted that match since 2020. I wanted it since 2020. Since the first time I ever saw Takeshita, my comedic comparison was, oh, this is 6'2" Okada. This dude that like
he's Okada with power moves.
Is this big tough? Is this big athlete that can move very well for his size and is uncommonly tall. Like, yeah, and both have great drop kicks. Like, I want to see them wrestle each other. But one's in DDT, the one's in, Bushiroad, the other one's on fucking Wrestle Universe. It'll never happen. And now somehow Tony Khan is fire pro this shit up and now it's going to happen. And when it happens, man, it's going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible.
C2 finals. Strap them up. It's time to start the Takeshita push. Like, have Okada go undefeated through his block and then drop that shit to Takeshita.
Find me? Like the crowd wanted Takeshita to win the belt from the show. They wanted him to win it then, and then Okada came in there, threw his ass out of there, and then he laid waste to Briscoe and then pinned Orange. So yeah, that's absolutely what they're setting up. They threw him out the ring to protect him, then eventually get back to Okada. Yeah.
Chicago Street Fight: Chris Statlander versus Willow Nightingale. in just under 15 minutes. This is one of the greatest women's matches in the history of this country. Just like an incredible street fight. Just have we considered just converting the women's division to a street fight division, to no rules, ECW rules? Because historically, this is what these women thrive in. They like.
I wouldn't go that far, but you got a point.
Like,
got a really good point about the best women's matches in company history. A lot of them being death match type stuff between Britt and Thunder Rosa, these street parking lot things, these tag team street fights. Yeah.
The fucking Britt and they had a bull rope match the other week with Thunder and Deonna Purrazzo, where they both were running the razor, like on Collision.
Now, I mean, there is one caveat. When the Tooth Merchant went out there into her office, had that match with Big Swole, that
one didn't quite. That was a cinematic match. So
that was
not it.
Good. Not
the Anna Jay and Tay Conti tag street fights. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah,
the tag street fights. Yeah,
Penelope Ford slicing it up.
Is Tay ever gonna come back?
Yeah, she actually. I heard news about her like last week or something that she's cleared to return or something like that. So I would expect her imminently.
Okay.
Look, I wouldn't be shocked if they threw her out there with like Mercedes Moné or something just to get whooped. But I don't know. But yeah, this match, Statlander and Will Nightingale.
No. Sorry, gotta pull the car over to the side of the road. Dr. Larry says Anna Jay should stay in Japan and do what?
Work. Wrestle.
Where?
The World Wonder Ring. What you think?
Matches. You ain't see these matches.
You know,
get her the fuck out.
You know,
get her the fuck out.
You know, challenge for the red belt. You know,
get her out. Get her out.
You know, challenge for the red belt. You know,
nope.
Go into the Cosmos and lay it down. You know.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, man, Statlander and Will Nightingale, they finally had their great match. Like they've had these shorter matches that have just not been it. Like they've been clearly like placeholders until they got here. They say, "Hey, you got 15 minutes," and they was out here saying, "We gonna go into tax. We are like, you know, getting slammed through shit. We boshing each other in the head." Powerbomb
off of the ramp through the table. It was great. It was fucking great.
Like this is like this shit. This is when you knew it was like, all right, for a second, because this followed Will Ospreay and Pac, and I was sending voice messages.
And we were like, oh, this is not a good spot.
I was not. I was sending voice messages that I was like, on the stream can verify. I was like, I am not worried about Statlander and Willow at all. Like they can follow it, and then I never felt smarter. Because I was like, this is a totally different kind of match. The crowd's into it. And like the entrances felt big, especially Willow comes out with the braids. You already know what's up when she does that. Stat walks out from the backstage, looks like just y'all know what Stat looks like. So this was like. It felt totally different than like, you know, the other plunder, like, you know, what Swerve and Hangman did to each other. This was like, it was like big and it was athletic and it was violent still, and it was like a lot of
your classic. This is your classic blow-offs death match.
Yeah. I love this shit. Cameraman cameraman had no choice. You know, he had no choice to shoot what he shot. You know.
Look, man, I saw people making some point about, like, you know, the camera shots, and I was like, well, I mean, there's a lot of ass in that ring. I mean, there's no way around it. I mean,
what was he supposed to do? Aim away?
Right. You want to zoom on Shivani? Like, what do you want? What do you want?
Yeah, this is
but anyway.
Yeah, I went 4 3/4 on this, and I was like, stars were fake. No one can stop me. Like, I don't...
This then with the whole anti-capitalism logic, like money's fake, it's not real. Whatever. It's a social construct.
Yes. Here,
I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. I give 4.5. Whatever. Like, it was a great match. It was a great match. Really fun match. Really happy for the match. Like, one of the bigger successes of the year. Like, the part where, like, this and the all-in Toni Storm and Mariah May match, like, they set the course and dedicated themselves to a story, and this is the success of it. And I'm so happy they did this. And, like, because we wasn't getting this shit 3 years ago. Absolutely fucking out from this company. Very happy. Very happy. Thank you, Mercedes, for showing up. Now, Mercedes, you want to,
contribute,
keep up with them. Great. But nonetheless, like, and also when I saw this match, I said, like, I was upset with the Britt Baker and Mercedes Moné match because it's like this basically got bumped to here because, they had to get a match for Mercedes and Mercedes couldn't wrestle Willow again and couldn't wrestle Stats, so it had to be this. And like they went up there and had that match, and then I was able to get off my tweet, and I was like, that Tooth Merchant, she has no place here anymore unless it involves grabbing a tag rope. So that's where we're at, straight like that. So very happy. I get to get my shit off. I've been hold on this One Nation Radio, because Rich is a fan of the Tooth Merchant, so I've laid low. I've let it breathe, and I've just the game always comes back to me, and now here we are. It always comes back. So very happy. Like,
you see, Tony Khan took a question about Britt Baker, like someone asked because they was trying to make him walk into something.
I ain't trying to answer that shit. And then we moving on. We're on to Cincinnati. It was very much one of those. Yes.
They should make her and Thunder run it again.
Hey man, look, RP Rich Homie Quan. But when I saw it, I was like, I be feeling like the man when I walked through. I was like, we're moving on. We're walking through that bullshit and we're moving on to the future. A bright future for AEW Women's Division. Also, shout out to Cam Hawkins. This man said basically tweet that I've been saying on this show for years. Like, big, strong, muscle, and beating and clobbering the shit out of each other. And he said that moved him. I was like, welcome to James Boyd in 2022. That shit got clipped. Dan plays it every time there's two Hoss women wrestlers wrestling. Dan wants to send that clip. I've knocked my damn ear out of here. Anyway, but yeah, man, like, welcome.
Amazing.
You weren't used to getting that shit in America. Now we getting it. It's fun. Now wait till we get Jamie Hayter in here with Stat or with Willow. That shit's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, it's gonna be. If they want to like heat it up, it's like they have multiple options in ways they've never had, and they've put time into a lot of these people. These people were over and stars to various degrees. Even Britt's still a star to an extent, absolutely. And like
she is still valuable to this promotion.
So
I would never say she's not.
And then they're still trying with Deonna Purrazzo. Like it seems like she wants to put a unit together or something. I don't know. Harley Cameron is somebody I think they just kind of found, and she's like found money essentially. Like, and I think she's like really good. And even your long term projects, like when Anna Jay comes back, let's see how like Japan helped her. So, they've got.
I don't know if Japan actually helped Anna Jay. I'm not quite sure it's helped Anna Jay.
We will see. But
we're gonna see.
Look, and then like Amanada's getting thrown, with Mariah May now.
All right, hold on. I gotta stop this. Slash Slides said it again. The Xena match. It's Xena. Xena's good. Xena's good. Like, Xena had a high-speed match on pay-per-view the other day. Like, no, man, she's good.
Sam,
we got to stop this.
Stardom Wrestler of the Year on our fans demand it. That's funny.
Boo. Shuri is not bad. However, Shuri wasn't able to, make it quite work with somebody like Anna Jay, and that's kind of hilarious seeing that I've seen Shuri make it work with motherfuckers that debuted like a week ago. So it's kind of telling.
Yeah, man. So like Queen Amanada's there. Red Velvet's still there. They're linked up. They've got options. AW International title match: Will Ospreay versus Pac. 20 minutes. Melt the arena. RLPW. Niggas high flying, moving fast, fighting each other, kicking out, reversing, insane like placements like of like counters and like an epic finish. Like this shit was just like, all right, man. Like Dave was like saying like this is one of the greatest matches of all time. Like immediately on Twitter, like
it's a 5-star match, so
he was going nuts, right? But I was like, Like I was like, what if these two British people got to fight at Wembley instead? That might have been fun. But I love this. This is like if you ask me the default style of pro wrestling I want to watch is this. And it's like, yeah, man, like Ospreay is like got a hell of a pay-per-view card this year. Like if you just write all his shit down, Jesus Christ.
Bro, his worst pay-per-view match is the MJF match.
Yeah.
And that's 4.25.
Yeah.
What?
Dave gave that shit 5.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Match incredible. I had to rewatch this match.
This match was I was gonna say this match was so good. I was thinking, the beans and toast. Maybe I gotta let them, maybe I gotta let them slide a little bit. I ain't gotta make fun of them, for a little while on that.
I thought you were gonna expose something else. I was like, oh no, don't do that. But yeah, man. I was distracted during this match in like the first bit of it, but like it got to the point where I was like, hey, damn what I'm doing. I gotta focus on this fucking match. It's spectacular. I'm sorry. I can't. Like, I just like, hey, no, enough of this. Why now? Why would this come up now? Why would this have to come up now? It made no sense for it to come up now, and it came up now, meaning then. Why it had no reason for it to come up then, and then all of a sudden, like, nah, man, nah. I'm put a stamp on it. I'm putting a stamp on it. I don't care. Don't care. Put a stamp on this. I'm trying to. Is Ospreay in the pocket doing shit like sidestep out of someone charging at you, someone bounce off the ropes, German suplex, no sell the German suplex. Go for the fucking power bomb. Power bomb gets turned to a West Coast pop. West Coast pop gets rolled through into a Styles clash, and then motherfucker goes to the corner and hits a fucking hidden blade. Nah, man, no, this shit's incredible, bro. Shit was fucking incredible.
It's so
awesome
raw.
match, one of the best matches of the year. 5 stars, all that. This is the match that if you watch this show from top down, like how we're reviewing it, right? You're watching all this heavy shit, right? Like you got, the main event, which is a murder show, right?
Yep.
It's a murder in a dark alley. You got motherfucking suffocated with a plastic bag. You got women out here bash each other with light tubes, right? This is the classic match for you for this show. And it was one of the best singles matches of the year. Fucking awesome. 5 stars. I can't wait to rewatch this thing, bro. This was a special match, and like I've seen him and Pac have matches before. This is the best one I've seen them have. It was awesome, and I already hold the match that I've seen in Red Pro with them in high regard. So yeah, man, this is just awesome. Awesome.
Like, Will Ospreay is a sorcerer,
Yeah, like did Shivani say that one time?
Jim Ross once said that.
Who said that?
Jim Ross once said that.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's like, this nigga's so good at wrestling. It's so like just lights out in these situations. It's just like he was one of the few baby faces to win on this show. And it was like, all right, like there's tons of heels in this company that emerge coming out of this show very strong. Mm-hmm. And obviously they had to run in with Ricochet after this match. Yep. And, Ricochet's talk game ain't all that or whatever.
You think it's going to be set up for Grand Slam? It looks like it's headed that way.
They could do that. I think what's happened with Ricochet is like, obviously they used him that first week, and he didn't show back up until now. The whole thing was like, get some wins and get yourself to me and stuff like that. I don't think Will's aware that they don't do that no more. But I think they want Ricochet to get his legs under him before he goes in there with Ospreay, because it's like this has to work. Like this is what how'd that song go? This is what they came for. This is what they're coming for. Like, and
you talking about the Rihanna and Calvin Harris?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what you came for,
Yeah, so, like, it's like, nah, man, like, I don't think Will's gonna let it fail, but, like, they need Ricochet going in there at his best, and, like, away from the jitters, away from the new company transition. Like, you need to get in there and wake up the fucking guy that we think is inside you. So, like, World Tag Team title match. Jung Bucks, the Young Bucks, taking on Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta, who obviously played a role later on in the show. I thought this was a good match. I didn't think it was great, but it was a step up from some of the stuff I've seen with the Bucks of late. I think Nick Jackson went into this match with a shoulder injury, if I'm not mistaken, so he worked through all that. Clean win for the Bucks. Pretty much got a reversal out of some type of splash with the knees or something. Hooked the leg. It was so fun seeing Claudio in there with Matt and Nick Jackson. Just him working, him in the middle and them working around him, and then he's throwing both of them up. When I think about like the great tag team wrestlers of all time, you think of like those three. They got to be on the list between Claudio Castagnoli, Matt, and Nick Jackson.
Yep, Nick and Matt. Yeah.
So I thought this was a good win for the Bucks, and it kind of seems like this was like a filler defense for them because obviously the entire dynamic of the BCC was like going a different way after this. So they got to build some other teams up though.
I like this match more than you did. I thought this match was bordering on great for a lot of it. I just saw Claudio with them. I was messaging y'all in the middle. I was like, I don't know why I never thought of this, but like a singles match between Claudio and Nick Jackson would be fucking awesome. And then I'm watching, all the stuff being like, yeah, that's why it'd be awesome. It was just fun. It was really fun. And like, we were at a point in the match, like we were at a point in the car where we're like, yo, this stuff kind of is over delivered from what our expectations were, and then we get the Ospreay match, we're like, oh, and then we get the Willow match, like, oh, yo, the first half of this show was absolutely cooking. And I mean, it was cooking, and like the whole rest of the show was cooking, but like it goes so dark that it's like you don't even feel it. It feels like the first half of the show is like a classic AEW pay-per-view match, and then the second half is a damn like the Texas Chainsaw Mansion, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre Mansion. You're like, whoa, what is this?
Yeah.
Like the last 2 hours of this show is like the bathroom in Saw. It's like, what the fuck happened here, man?
And we opened up with MJF versus Daniel Garcia in a hell of a match. There were reports after it was supposed to be Garcia's win. I saw a lot of people kind of upset, wrong winner on this thing. I didn't get mad at that. I kind of expected MJF to win. I didn't think he was going to lose two pay-per-view matches in a row. Garcia is still up in the air, his contract status, so that's why he didn't win, allegedly.
No, Rich, I need you to acknowledge this part. Swerve took two pay-per-view losses in a row.
He did. In the main event. But yeah, like, as far as MJF, like, it felt like he came out there in those shit brown the shit brown gear. So I was like, man, fuck this nigga, man. Like, fuck this nigga up, man. Like Garcia or whatever. I thought this was like toned down MJF, which was like way better than like him trying to be either a over the top super indie guy or be a fucking goofball. Like, this was like way more grounded in reality almost. Like, and I think this match worked out for the better for that.
Yeah, love this match. And I thought this is what both of them really badly needed. I thought it was a great match, and it was a great, and it was a bold choice for it to be the opener. It worked out in that way, even with a heel winning in the beginning. But you get the part at the end where he beats him down and gets his move. I don't think it's over. I do not think it's over. And I think he's chasing the big win from Garcia. And
they got Grand Slam coming, right?
Grand Slam makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And
do we need to go 50-50 to do that? I don't necessarily agree, but whatever. Still a good story.
We've got friends that don't quite get Daniel Garcia, just don't see the investment in him that I think the crowd has.
Right.
I felt like this guy was putting it together even earlier this year, like that Revolution opener with Christian. Like, people were living and dying with this guy. Like, he's had it figured out for a long time. Like,
he's had the crowd for a while.
Like when I don't know how it was, a year ago or whatever. I said if it came down to Garcia or MJF, I'm keeping Garcia. Like, I'm still standing on that. Like, I think this guy has something earnest about him in a way that I kind of thought Jack Perry had as well. Like, there's like a earnest, like, as a babyface, like, where it's like, yo, I believe in this young guy. This is one of the good ones or whatever. Essentially, like you was brought up the right way. Essentially, like, you came into this shit like to be like, yeah, man, like, I'm gonna uphold the honor of like the people that came before me or whatever. Like, you're not no idiot or whatever. Like, that's how I look at Garcia. So, like, I think he's this was supposed to be his win, but I imagine, if he stays, that big win will come to him. People will go crazy, and he's someone else. I think you got to start factoring in higher positions as well eventually.
At this point, like, he'd make a great TNT champion.
Yeah, I'd like to see him get in there, like, even cross him up, even with like away from just the people that he's been in with. Give him some of the imports. Like, give him let him see what he does against Okada or whatever. Just throw it out there. Like, let him go in there with Hangman or whatever. I know Hangman and him never crossed paths or whatever, but even if he's got to lose a couple more matches or whatever, but like, start like basically developing, like, yeah, dog, like, he's gonna be here and he's coming also. So, like, him and Kyle Fletcher, that would be kind of an interesting match. But yeah, that was the show pretty much for All Out, unless you had anything else on that.
Great.
Yeah,
the show's fucking
it's one of the best AEW shows ever. And it's not easy to get in that conversation. And it's just like,
it stands out so much from the other ones. It really does, because of what they were doing in these matches and like some of the angles in it. Like for let's say if your bar for AEW pay-per-views is All In 2021,
I feel like that's been surpassed time and time over again. But
but that doesn't include just the match to match guy thing, whatever. It includes like the Adam
debuts.
Cole, the Danielson thing, right? Like, if you want to say that is it, fine. That's one that's super memorable. The Sting Revolution this year is memorable for the Sting retirement, right? And then you have this because it's like, when are we ever? Oh, okay, not forget. When are we ever going to another AEW pay-per-view like this? Why are we ever want another one like this?
There's a lot of,
you know what I'm saying?
Bold.
It was this took something out of you, and I don't mean it in a negative way. I mean, like, it just, like, emotionally, it's like some of our favorite wrestlers out here really, really pushing the envelope, and like, their characters are also like completely changing and turning darker.
Yeah,
in a way.
This is like a lot of bold stylistic choices, like, that were intentional. Like, it wasn't like
this is the stuff the alternative brand should be doing.
Yeah, like they're pushing the envelope another way, essentially. Like, all right, we can have a feud get so crazy that this is how these guys are gonna act. We can do an angle where we're breaking people up, and it's like, where were you when the BCC like turned on each other, like, and like, not no goofy way, not like,
right.
you know, I'm trying to think of a group that imploded essentially. Like, all right, people are probably going to get mad at me if they hear this. I thought it was a well done turn, but this is just two totally different levels, and ironically, the same guys involved. When the Shield broke up, Seth Rollins takes one single chair shot to Roman Reigns. He falls over, never gets up again. Moxley has to react like, you know, like damn near like a cartoon character almost. And then like Triple H is on the outside room with Randy Orton. They're standing there just like, it's like somebody's orchestrating all this shit. It was like, no, these guys in the fucking ring are in control of their destiny. Like, and it felt like, oh, there's actually like, there's something on the fallout of this that is going to change everything forever. Between the end of Danielson's career, whatever the fuck Wheeler Yuta is going to do, and and what Moxley is morphing into. All those things potentially have dark endings. Because, like, what if this kid sees this, quote unquote, kid, Wheeler Yuta, hypes himself up, and then he gets fucking destroyed. Like, and then something happens to him, and he's like, whatever. Or he, you know, crossed the mountain, whatever. But Moxley's a dark motherfucker. We already know he's going that way.
Yeah.
So these are a lot of dark people. Pause.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, love this show. Love this show. This is challenging, I think. And, you know, we've seen all the bad faith bullshit and everything is too violent. Is it all for the kids? Just going to hit y'all with an SMD real quick and keep moving, really. Like, I don't...
I'm willing to buy that as far as you said that about the main event, but my argument would also be like, they turned the lights off and they turned it back on and said it was a sanctioned match. Like, now, maybe if you didn't understand that when they've had other crazy shit like the Moxley and Omega lights out stuff, but now that you know when they do a lights out match pay-per-view, turn the fucking thing off if you're in a weak of stomach, because that was another match that was also nasty as hell too.
Yeah. Broken glass everywhere.
Yeah. The barbed wire web they were both caught in.
Yeah, I remember that. Suplex in it or some shit like that.
Yeah, they suplexed the damn thing.
V-trigger through the glass.
Bro, Omega looked fucking miserable when he was in that thing.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess we can move on. So we're here, man. One Nation Radio 12-year anniversary. Wow. I'm looking at the calendar right now, and it's September 10th, 2024. It's always week 1 of the NFL season, which is basically the new season of ONR, quote unquote.
Yeah. Season premiere,
yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, for me, it's even a little bit, you know, more special, or it's a little more you know, I don't know if I'm using the right word. I'm probably going to ramble on and be emotional right now, but like, my dad died a year ago to this day now, between September 9th and 10th, and here I am 1 year later with James, and I just like reflected so like earlier today, like about and you know, leading up to this and having different conversations with people on the network, and seeing what this thing is all like kind of grown into, talking to Catherine, and like, you know, she was like, you put so much of yourself into this or whatever. And I thought, I was like, yeah, man, like I'm, you know, I haven't been as fortunate yet to become a father or anything yet. Right. And I think I have a 12-year-old podcast, and it's like the thing that I've put my energy into, besides like the music and stuff like that, is like the last 12 years has been this show, this network, building this community, even at the detriment sometimes of my home life. And, you know, this show started in my living room 2012. We were listening to like Meek Mill, I'm a Boss, I remember, was the first instrumental we ever played as the intro to this show. And I just see how big this thing has like become, like as far as like people are able to like recognize like Jeremy and Josh, like they're throwing events in different cities and like they're over, you know, in the New Japan community in the way they are. Like that's like something that I feel like immense pride in, that they were able to get that shit cracking like that. Our new people that have joined the podcast network this year, that I handpicked and recruited both of them. Like, and you know, I'll say it here, like, in contingency plans, you know, because there's a lot going on, you know, with, you know, as far as like, you know, I lost my dad last year. There's always like more stuff, you know, music wise that has been opening up for me and bigger opportunities and stuff like that. And I wanted to make sure that, you know, I kind of left something behind if, you know, when the day comes, or if the day ever comes that I can't do One Nation Radio anymore. That's why I'm so proud to have Tristan and Sarah on this network, who cracked it open in their own way. Tunnel Talk, who cracked it open in their own way. Like, it completely, you know, I value the styles of and approaches of the people that contribute to this thing. Floyd and All Things Elite with Austin, like, keeps me so entertained. And Floyd, I have a special relationship with Floyd, I feel like, because when it was like I met him, didn't know him or whatever, talked to him. We have, you know, he's a little bit older than me. We got different tastes, you know, in wrestlers, but it's always been love. And I met him, and the first time, he's just such a great guy and has a great spirit about him. And you know, I was able to, you know, with Floyd and, you know, how he started his show, we wanted to make sure his stuff got off, you know, and popping like that. Like, and I did a podcast with him, and we interviewed Montezzi, who I didn't know, because Montezzi had a song about Cody Rhodes. And I found out Montezzi lived 20 minutes from me, and it wouldn't have happened without Floyd. And in that relationship with me and Montezzi, we become good friends. He hooks me up with Swerve. Swerve doesn't know me from Adam, essentially. And at this point, like, you know, I meet Swerve like as an artist. Like, it's like, hey, like, it's not like a fan and a wrestler situation. It's like and it's like the relationship was born out of music that we all made at like the craziest point in perhaps American history, like with 2020, immediately after George Floyd, and we formed like our own little thing or whatever that has come out of it and is rocking to this day. I think, you know, between Floyd, Montezzi, and then my relationship with Swerve, I feel like I became a better podcaster with my relationship with Swerve, because I'm learning more how the business works and being, you know, trusted, like with information that he will tell me for me or whatever. And then like I have to find ways to internalize it. I have to find ways to readjust how I watch this thing I love. And you know, Jeremy and Josh, so happy for them. And then, you know, James, I see on this show, like, with all he does, like, to turn the show around and put it up every week. For a long time, I recorded One Nation Radio and got it all up, and eventually, like, James took it over, and I was like, well, how can I, like, still contribute, like, on that end, like, on the other side? And I was like, all right, I'm going to try to start this live streaming thing. And all of this has been, like, I feel like we're laying a brick a day, and it's still not as, like, far as I want it to be, because, like, I always have, and maybe James can, like, attest to this, like, I always have this hunger for more or whatever. Like, I want to push it and keep trying to be better, trying to, like, expand and get more out there. And, like, as these opportunities come up, like, it just makes me fulfilled, because, you know, when I grew up like when my parents separated, dove very much into my interests, and whether it's to my detriment to my real life today, you know, maybe that's a thing I have to you know, figure out or whatever. But, like, I always, like, I remember one time me and James had a conversation, and, like, he was like, we were talking about myself in comparison to, like, another local rapper, and he was just kind of comparing us. And I remember one time James said, this other guy was like not afraid to fail or whatever, or do something that, that maybe doesn't work out for him. And I was like kind of too rigid. I always remember that. And that has pushed me to like try. And his cousin Alex once said, if you give Rich like a piece of paper or a pen, like he can figure it out somehow, like whether it's the words or anything like that. So like it has been my objective and goal to be honest with the audience, to put myself into me and James's partnership on this show and like be pure with this, like, and be be basically like the best I can for everyone. Like, yo, it doesn't matter who, what big name is out there in, just the podcast world and wrestling. Like, we have ourselves, like we build ourselves up. I'm not worried about Dave Meltzer. Why? I have James Boyd next to me. I'm not worried about Brian Alvarez. I have Jeremy Donovan next to me, and, like I'm not worried about, the various historians. I can call the young boy Josh Smith and he can figure it out for me like that. And I feel like the team between all of us that, we've worked on this, and I'm just talking from the head. So if I forget anybody, I apologize. But like it comes from One Nation Radio, like, and it births so much, and I take pride in it so much. Like, and having women on the network, being black in doing this long before a lot of like other people popped up. And it's cool that they've popped up, done their thing. Some shows, they're wildly successful, more successful than us, more power to them. But I've got a lot in me to get out creatively, whether it's music, whether it's the show itself. And I'm just happy that I get to share it with the people that download this show. And thinking about, missing my dad a year later, and it's like I got, one of the few things that I have that I feel like isn't going anywhere until I want to change it is this show.
I think it was really well said and really heartfelt. And yeah, man, like I think this is the most committed thing I've done on a weekly basis ever in my life. I don't know about you, but like it's kind of crazy thinking of it that way. It's like, done all sorts of different things in life, but it's like basically every single week for 12 years, except for, a few things here and there. Like I've been, doing ridiculous stuff with technology to somehow make me enrich record audio. Like I think we talked about it last year is how unglamorous and how ridiculous the setup was, and it's a lot better now. But like it was a real DIY project, and 12 years later, like the show has changed. Stuff we talk about has changed, but like the essence of the show is just like me and Rich's friendship and whatever we have to talk about for however long we have together at that particular time to record. So like yeah, it's been fun, and it'll continue for now. But we'll I don't know how long this goes, but I'm having fun still doing it. That's for sure.
Yeah, man. It's I think we have a great audience. I think we have a great Discord channel. Join if you haven't. Don't come kicking that fuck shit. I used the @everyone button the other day.
Oh God.
And just saying, hey, this is what's going on. We got 12 years in this thing, and what should we do? Essentially, when I do something like that, that's something called segment fishing, right? What do you guys want to hear us talk about? Y'all had some creative things. There was like your Your podcast is almost old enough to start training under Rossi Ogawa. There were a couple other funny ones in there. And there was someone that replied was like, "Yo, I don't care about your show. I don't care about your anniversary. I don't listen to it." And I basically responded and told that person, well, you can get the fuck out and deal with it. Right? And for me, I just found that so I felt two ways about it. I'm like, one, that's really fucking mean. And then two, it's like, oh shit, they're not really here for us. But the work that we did brought you here for someone else. Mm-hmm. I get it. I can't be too upset. This hit me after. Of course, I already cussed at the person and stuff like that, so my apologies.
It was funny because I hadn't even seen it. I just showed up in the reply because I saw it, and then all of a sudden I scrolled down two things after I said it, and I was like, oh, Rich is way more rude to that person than I was. So, all right, it was already handled.
Yeah. So, this has been such a journey and a ride. I'm always thinking of ways to get better, to make the show comes through every week, and how I try to be like, yo, can't nobody doing stuff like that, but it might be a fucking. You can get your audio from anywhere. You can listen to that are out there, but man, maybe that'll be our our tag. We'll body or anything, but that'll work for me, and it feels like, just like, man, if someone was to live the hours of One Nation Radio, I don't know how long it would be, but this has been great doing it every week, and it's a really cool way to more than I already do. So
yeah,
it's I love doing this show, and I've started doing more where I'm doing reactions and long form talking. I find it very easy, and people they find that stuff that I'm doing on there, they like it, stuff like that, and I'm like, I got 12 because of this show. I can just turn a mic on. This has helped me a lot, because here sometimes there's a lot of ums and likes, stuff like that. This show, so a flat out communicator, when I do music. Slash Eyes basically says, we got a couple comments in here. Wasabi King, Liv Morgan will never. I can truthfully say James Boyd got me fully into shows, got me wanting to watch it, and I've watched it ever since. That's what's up.
Wow. Never said to me on this thing. Maybe we shouldn't get.
Those top 5 ONR moments.
God, we give each other's favorite moment from the right. I come up with my top 5 original. Your top 5 James Boyd moments on this. I think that's easier.
I have a terrible moment, or memory to try.
Oh God. Okay. All right. So I think the definitive right? You the great Alexa Bliss matches. He paused for the list. That was great. All right, what do you got?
I think and you were telling us the stories about, and also getting lost in and basically the bird.
Yeah, that was. Let's see what else we got. Okay. Last year of WrestleMania 39 was out there and fucking loses. And he thought that he's gonna come in here and just 1 year is gonna become their champion. And then go home Angle or whatever else with Roman Reigns. For a failure, you left and then you start another company here. You finna fail here too. You were like, and then you were like, you know what? They probably and everything. The shit was gonna be sweet. That full year, 365. And you said that there was, there was a bug. If that room was bugged, I mean, it'd have been Vince, Heyman, and Roman. And you zoomed in the camera. You said, "You fucking got it." That shit was fucking hilarious.
I was. All right, let me think. There was. I'm trying to think. There's 12 years ago through, so this is so hard on the spot.
Right. I'm only going to think of like ones from like the last few years, opposed to ones from
going into WrestleMania 35. This might have been on the FOH draft. Recaps the entire Charlotte Ronda Rousey storyline. Fucking breath, like in like 20 minutes. The entire thing, yeah, like the entire ridiculous this shit was. Look that shit up.
Oh my god. Oh man. All right. Let's see what we got. I am gonna go. See, I'm trying to think because these years of stuff running together.
Yeah.
There was one of the shows when there's a time. I think this is after WrestleMania 34. I was pissed off. A few months I was away. You were doing solo shows. That you did. It's clipped up. It's actually all like top 10 or 20 most viewed things on Social Plus Network. When you did like a gather around Braun Strowman to get these hands. He had beat the shit out of Roman Reigns and then flipped the fucking air.
Yeah. I will say, I think of when Sherry went back to Roja and Momo Watson, phenomenal. It was like just the way basically went and just kind of in Shuri's shoes and told the story of like all time shit right there, like as well.
Yeah,
you guys can.
Oh man, this isn't. This is like because 2023 best of 2000. Yes, best 2024. There's two playlists of two particular wrestlers. And on our phone, we just the whole part of like CM Punk's departure to the time he leaves and ends up in WWE is like on like every clip we did on his way to ending back at the WWE at SummerSlam last year is like Rich is like, ain't right, shit ain't right, shit's fucked up, and the whole time he's calling like, this man finna back in WWE. WWE, that man's out there, you know, taking pictures. Man, now he's fighting over Charmer.
Yeah,
and then after, I think one of my on somebody was that SummerSlam match we did. The some CM Punk and Drew. Like you zoom in the camera, he's like, that shit was great.
The SummerSlam. I had a friend send me that.
Uso?
Yeah, I had a friend.
Or Jimmy?
I had a friend. Everything he was, I was watching some old shit. Everything y'all fucking said came true. I think I don't know if this counts necessarily. Just kind of talking, but they're mentioning it in the comments. Appearance after he won the championship, a really cool thing that I didn't know. I don't know if I ever like just flat told how it happened, but I think Swerve was driving. I think from Tampa or whatever from the gym or whatever the fuck because he was sweating. I was like, "Yeah, I'm on air," and then he was like, "Yeah, I'll call in." And this is I was with him the day before in St. Louis. I think that afternoon, and then like he it's like 25 minutes of his time, and it was just like this impromptu thing that people like really fucked with, like, and it was almost like a moment where it was like, yeah, man, we are world champion will show up just like it's not going through the company. It's not like, man, we connected out here. I like a lot of our guests, get back on here. Yeah. Shout out to Tanya. Man, Lyric coming on here. Trying to think. Rants like when we packed up the 23, the All-Star game shit. A lot of the pretty much like navigating like the stuff about race in wrestling, like a lot of shit that I'm like either proud of or whatever. Like no. One Nation Radio, but yeah, I got to fucking interview Kenny Omega because of Swerve. Like,
yeah,
what could I ask for? Like, McMahon when James fucking popped the fucking or whatever, like going boop, like just completely,
Did I tell you I was gonna do that before it happened?
No,
I couldn't remember if I did.
You did not.
Celebrating.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of stuff that is in the archive. I think you guys should check out. And James and the Booty Wash Station. That's what it was. That's what it was.
What?
The clip section.
You named it that?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Why would you click on that? James in the booty wash store? Huh? What booty wash is going on?
I wasn't necessarily that one.
best of 7.
The best of 7
Oh, yeah.
stuff. Oh yeah.
Your best.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, influencing the company to adopt in that shit. That is that's a proud one, right? Let me see. Yeah, I think it was the G1 5. It was like talking about Will Ospreay essentially, and like,
Oh yeah.
Ospreay was doing, and just basically like declared his allegiance. I've been like holding it back or whatever. This is the nigga. There's
Like,
funny one too. I'll just get back to that in a second. But Joe Raleigh face paint in the crack mirror promo, fucking hilarious.
Yes. That was before we did streaming though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like 2018, 19.
So there's like a bunch of One Nation radios that you feed because like we were also doing a show. But that feed is still active. If you go to Lords of Pain, you want to hear us break down WWE Raw August 2018, like SummerSlam 5 or just past that, or into May of WWE essentially, like, and you're every fucking week watching Monday Night Raw because I'm not just like reading.
And Rich had Raw, so he had the 3-hour show, and Raw, and it was 2 hours, and it was Becky Lynch and Charlotte carrying.
Yeah. Zach James calling him a sick man with a nasty agenda. We're a very memeable show. I try to the rant about Cody not wrestling. Yeah, that's a great one. Some of the stuff with Cody Rhodes on his way out of AEW.
I mean,
like basically like when Cody Rhodes cussed that fucking, and James is basically like, how the fuck can you in the city you were born in? Like, that clip is still going crazy to this day.
See, it's always in the top thing or way up there. Like, look, man, that might be my favorite thing that I've ever done on the show. As far as like, because it is a little deep in, like, but you're the rant guy. I get in, I get out, or do my thing. That was one. You got to kind of move. This is.
It is reconnection successful.
That. Okay, we back.
We go. Okay, yeah. I don't know what happened, but like it. Yeah. Y'all missed nothing. But yeah, One Nation Radio. You know, shout out to my boy Imp. Covering WWE, modern WWE. You know, that's kind of difficult. Shout out to Chris in Australia doing the stuff with the art.
Look, it's better than having to cover 2018 WWE.
Yeah. And it's just like, shout out to Sir Sam. You know, I know Sam a long time, and Sam's getting his podcast back rolling on the network, and it's just like I'm so happy for everyone to have a creative outlet that they enjoy. And the FOH draft, that's at the end of the year, and that thing is even crazier like like every year. So I try to go nuts on there. So
oh man, look, the Gentle Activity thing's going to be up there.
Gentle Activity, that's a future one. That's I think that was actually already solidified. I had to remix that one, put a video out. Like, but yeah, man, it's all that stuff I said earlier is from the heart, and love the audience. James, thank you for doing this show still with me.
Thank you.
It's just like it's almost like I'm on a there is no destination with this. It's just like we're fucking going. Like we're going. Like I don't know where we're going, but get in the car essentially.
Yeah, I mean, but it's funny because it's like, or I think we've said this before. Like, One Nation Radio is basically like phone conversations we'd already just have with each other. So, like, it just works out that way.
Shout out to Social Suplex.
What you say?
I said shout out to Social Suplex as a staff, a record label, and a crew.
All right. So where do you want to go? You want to end the show?
Yeah, let's get the fuck out of here. You guys will get a podcast next week. You will not get a live stream next week, unfortunately. But yeah, that's it.
All right. Thanks for listening, y'all. If you're on the stream while it's still up for the time that it's up for the time being, go to the Red Circle link in the podcast show notes, and be sure to listen to other shows on the network. Besides One Nation Radio, you have Keeping It Strong Style, All Things Elite, MCW Adventure, Wrestling Art with Chris Things, Tunnel Talk, and the Trish and Sarah Wrestling Podcast. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
I cried for y'all tonight. Buy some merch.
Later.
Peace. Yo,
all right, I've stopped it. You got Rich. You have to grab the audio off of the stream and upload it because I don't have it.
Damn,
it's all chopped up. It's awful. It is awful.
All right, y'all. We up out of here. If y'all want to, I'll be up for a little while. Like, if y'all want to go to the Discord and shit and just chat, like, I'll jump in there as well. But appreciate y'all. 12 years. Thank you guys for being here. And we're gonna keep it rocking, man. Peace.
Later, y'all.